All right, we should be live. If you're here, welcome. I'm going to wait a couple of minutes to see who shows up. Then I'll get started. All right, we should be live. If you're here, welcome. All right, so let's get started. Let's talk about the election aftermath and Kimberly Ann Goguen and her interview on the Reveal Report. Uh, I don't know if anybody else saw that. It was on last night. So a friend of the channel let me know that it was going to happen. I didn't even know it was going to happen. But they told me at the last second, so I ended up going over there and watching it. It was interesting. There were some things that she said that were interesting. Also, the election, I've seen a lot of people going crazy and melting down over Donald Trump winning, which is to be expected from the left because they're psychopaths. And they let whoever runs for president or controls the government control their life as well. That's how these people are. Anyways, yeah, I'm just going to wait a couple more minutes to see who else shows up. And then I'll talk a little bit more. Yeah, so one thing that Kimberly Ann Goguen said in the reveal report, and I have it here, I might show you guys on the stream. She talked about what could happen to Trump in terms of there being an actual assassination that actually is successful. Uh, I thought about that too, even before she said it. So when she said it, it kind of synchronized with what I already felt. I've talked about that happening in the past way before there was even an assassination attempt, and I only came to that conclusion because logically, two reasons. One, because the Democrats hate him and they're crazy enough to do some shit like that, but also whether the Democrats would do something like that or not doesn't matter because the ones that are in control of the world would easily do that. They've done it in the past with other people, so it's not too far fetched to think that they would try to actually do it with Trump as well. And if they did get rid of him, then all the things that Trump said he would do or whatever are obviously not going to happen. But we'll see. Because I didn't even think Trump was going to win. And that was part of the reason why I said I was going to stream for a week. I was anticipating Trump losing, and I was anticipating all types of interference, election interference, votes missing, something. I was like, something's gonna happen, but honestly, nothing happened. So I was like, okay, well, this was one of the quietest elections, if not the quietest election since what, 2012, since Obama. Nothing really happened. So I was like, okay, this is like a normal election. And he won on the first night, which surprised me. I honestly thought it was going to last longer than a day or two in terms of counting the votes and figuring out who was going to be the president. But everything happened in the same night. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I don't need to stream for a week like I said I was going to do. But yeah, and I'm not going to stream that long tonight either. I'm only going to stream for maybe an hour. I just wanted to discuss these things, but I'm waiting to see if anybody shows up, if anybody wants to reveal report, anybody wants to talk about anything. If not, then I'll probably cut the stream short. So I'll wait a few more minutes. I Am Your Muse says the meltdown is real, but it was basically just a few nuts, so it's just nothing. Yeah, typical leftist, right? Going crazy, acting out. Did you watch the reveal report yesterday? I Am Your Muse with Kim Goguen and Georgia Iceman. That was the first time I watched Kim in, what, 2 years? Almost 2 years. And the only reason why I ended up catching it was because I had somebody come by and drop a comment. And they told me about it. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know it was going to happen. Now I'll show you real quick. Give me a sec. I'll pull it up. It's still on his channel. He said he was going to take it down, but he didn't. So, but it's right here. It's still up. Yeah. I watched it twice. I watched it last night and today to try to get a grasp on what Kim was saying, and I I don't know how to say this, but she said pretty much a lot like the things that I thought she would say. Other than, like I said, she said a couple of things that I wasn't really thinking about in terms of cloning labs in certain places, things like that. But as far as the election and other things like that, she pretty much said the same stuff that I've been saying. So, and see, I don't watch her, so I just use my common sense to figure out what's going on. But and she said a lot of the things. Basically, what Kim said is the same stuff that I say. Like, there was like no difference in what she says and what I say. She just says it in a more elaborate way because she has connections, right? And she gets inside information, so she can put more names on things and she can pinpoint things a little bit better than I can because I don't have access to the things that she does. But the overall picture that we draw is pretty much the same thing. But yeah, I mean, Yeah, so if you go over there on the reveal report, you can watch it. I could play some of it. I was thinking about playing some of it just so we can talk about some of the things she said. Namely, the thing, like I said, the main thing she said that uh, it's like a kind of confirmation thing for me, where she said they might actually try to kill Trump for real this time. Because before it was all fake bullshit, right? And I think the reason why they were doing these fake assassination attempts on Trump was to try to get a gauge on how people would react if something actually did happen to Trump. And maybe they were like, oh, well, I guess it's not going to be that crazy if we actually do something to him. That's what I think, but I don't really know, right? It just makes sense. Yes, play it, and maybe the points she makes that might be of interest. Yeah, I could play the whole thing. I mean, we could discuss the whole thing if you want. You want me to just play the whole thing and then we just talk about it? If I do play it, it's going to be like speed up a little bit. Like I'll speed it up. Probably like 1.25 just so we can get through it. I'll play it. It doesn't really matter. Alright. I'll just get to where they started talking. The chat was pretty interesting. Probably. No, I don't need that.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the special breaking news broadcast. I'm your host, George Iceman, for the Reveal Report. It is Wednesday, and it is unbelievable, folks, what just transpired. Man, we are going to get into it. Donald J. Trump has been apparently voted the 47th president of the United States. And wow, a lot of people are upset. If you're watching social media, there's some outrage going on. A lot of people are crying, and wow, I can't believe it. So we have to do this report. And I thank you all for being here. Over 1,000 people here already. This is going to be a big show, guys. Thousands and thousands are going to be coming in. So I thank you all for being here. My guest will be joining me momentarily. Just a reminder, if you're new here and you're wondering, what is the Reveal Report? Well, folks, we touch on things that are supernatural, the occult, the paranormal, things that don't make sense, like politics. Usually, most of our news in this format is done on Patreon because of the topics that we speak about here on YouTube. We're limited, so bear with us, folks. We'll be doing an after show after this with a Q&A in regards to some of these topics with Kim. So you're welcome to join. The link is in the description. Follow, subscribe. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Telegram. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the love. And it is a new day in America and the world, no matter how you look at it. It's very interesting, folks. All right, my guest is someone that has been around for a while. Maybe not the entire community may know who she is, but a lot do. Kim goes by a few names. Kim Possible, you may have heard of her in that name. Her name is Kimberly Goguen, and she was in the financial markets. Very intelligent woman, worked with many delegates, people in different countries, moving money, very, very smart, and really understands the markets. She's also part of a group that is watching out for humanity. It's a very interesting group. She has a newscast. They go on a few times a week where she updates people on all things, not just politics, food, what you could do to have a better life. She does an outreach program where people can participate in different cities around the world on how to provide better services, whether it be gas, whether it be clothing, whether it be food. So she's doing some great things for the human race from what I see. And she always has some great knowledge to share, including occultically, which is shocking to me because she seems to be very knowledgeable on some of these things as well. So again, we have a amazing guest. I want you to be kind, and I want you to be respectful. And please welcome Miss Kim Goguen. Kim, how are you?
I'm great. Great. How are you? It's good to see you.
Yeah, he had just so I can say this quickly. He had an after show with her apparently Oh, it's gonna do this infinite thing. I hate when it does that. But he had this after show with her after this, and he put it on Patreon. And basically, they're talking about Diddy, Sean Diddy Combs or whatever, P Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call the guy. But yeah, he's religious. This dude. His name is George Iceman. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he used to do like witchcraft and black magic and things like that. But then he decided to turn to religion and better his life, I guess. But he's one of the few people that can speak about religion, and he actually gets it. So, I mean, like I tell people, if it works, it works. I mean, do what works for you. But anyways, I'm going to keep playing it.
Thank you for being here. Listen, every time you're here, I mean, the comment section gets lit up. People go bananas. We get pulled down from YouTube. We're going to see if we can keep the conversation so we can keep this up on YouTube. But either way, regardless, if it does come down, folks, it'll be on my platform and then later on her platform. So sit back, get your popcorn, get your favorite drink, coffee, tea, water, juice, whatever it is, as we get into it. We have a new president. Let us begin with a clip. I got to play a clip.
We got a new old president.
Yes. Let's play a clip and we begin. We begin correctly with what's going on. Here it is.
Okay, thanks very much, Brian. Well, reaction is pouring in from around the world to the news this morning that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. Simone Gavros joins us now from Niagara Falls.
Well, initially, analysts were saying that we weren't even going to know the results so soon because of how close those projections were for this race. But Donald Trump was able to gain a lot of traction in those battleground states, securing his win as the next president of the United States and having a second term. Now, Trump was in Florida early this morning, thanking his voters for their support.
Many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission.
Now, Trump won 277 electoral votes so far, meaning he passed the 270 votes needed to win the election. But votes are still being counted in 5 states, with 4 of them leaning in favor of the Republican Party. Trump was able to secure the vote, notably among men and Hispanic voters. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris's edge among women wasn't able to exceed President Joe Biden's or former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Trump is the first person convicted of a felony to be elected president and the first former president to regain power since 1892.
God saved him. Oh,
yes.
Dear.
Kim, God saved him so that he could save America and the world.
Yeah, maybe God doesn't mean the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah. I got to tell you, it's an interesting world. Camilla officially came out earlier today and did a speech, tipping off her hat and conceding and basically saying, you won this one. But, some people say, George, you're a bit of a conspiracy theorist. And maybe I am, but I never thought that the person in front was that important to begin with. I always thought it was the group behind the person that's important.
Yep.
So I know you're going to add a little bit more to this, what I'm about to say, but they say it's never an election. It's a selection.
Yep.
And I think there was a lot of backroom deals made and so forth. Regardless, let's get your take. I'm going to give you the floor, and let's get your opinion on what do you think is taking place with Donald J. Trump now in power.
Well, do you want to talk about the selections, or do you want to talk about Donald Trump first?
Let's talk about Donald Trump first.
Okay. So, as you know, there are a group of operatives that run every president. This has been going on for well over a century. This is not new. There are a selection that happens. And there was quite a bit of turmoil behind the scenes for this one. There was a lot of infighting. There were a lot, and I mean a lot, of promises made behind the scenes. Things like, number one, Saudi Arabia was promised a big pipeline that would go through Israel, eventually on through to Europe. And they would be supplying oil and gas between Israel and Saudi Arabia to all of Europe. This comes on the heels of the old Nord Stream pipeline that was taken out. And they have promised about 247% of the profits of the pipeline, which, as you know, there's only, at least in normal business, there's 100% profit. That's one of the deals I know that they made. They also made a lot of other interesting deals behind the scenes. Apparently, They told JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America that I would be ready to do business with them and support them now that Trump is elected. And they got that idea from the operatives behind the scenes. These are secret space program operatives known as Umbrella Military Corporation, Monarch Military Corporation, as well as others that have been behind him the whole time.
Now I'm going to show you something. I'm your muse. Remember how you were asking me about video games and stuff? Or we were talking about video games? Umbrella Corporation. So there's a video game I used to play when I was younger called Resident Evil. And this is, this came out in 96, 97. And I used to play this game when I was a kid. And they had an umbrella corporation that created a virus. And the game is about zombies. It's about killing zombies. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but this is what I mean by video games has a lot of truth in it. So she's talking about a real life umbrella corporation, which is pretty similar to the one that's in this game. And I was playing this as a child, and I was mesmerized by it because I was like, this is crazy. Not only that, but they've made movies too, like Resident Evil movies, which are pretty good if you haven't seen them. But long story short, this umbrella corporation in the game created a virus similar to, I guess, COVID or something. And this virus spread amongst humans, and then it turned them into zombies. And then the whole game is about killing the zombies and killing the people responsible for the virus. But long story short, it's just, something that she's talking about. And I'm like, oh, well, I heard about this when I was a kid playing a game. And that's what I mean by they hide secrets in games. So something that she's talking about that's real, something that I was familiar with as a kid. Didn't know it was a real thing, obviously, when I was a kid. I was just like, whatever, I'm playing a game, right? But it turns out that it's actually a real thing. And that's just one example, right? Like, there's so many thousands and millions of examples I could talk about with video games. But anyways, I just wanted to point that out to you in case you weren't familiar with it. And see, it's right here. Let me read a little bit about it. The Umbrella Corporation was a multinational conglomerate with subsidiaries active in a variety of industries from the 1980s to early 2000s. Umbrella had influence in the production and sales of cosmetic, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, industrial machine production, consumer products, health foods, the transportation industry, and tourism. Umbrella's large array of subsidiaries was typical for a large scale. See, and this is in a game. They're talking about this in a game, and this whole history for this company, corporation, in a game. Yet, it's pretty much the same thing in real life. So that's why it's just funny. Anyways, let's get back to what she was saying.
On the other hand, you also have the black nobility involved who threw their hat in the ring, who have been supporting the SSP in their ventures. That's the Pallavicini family, the Orsini family, as well as the head of the Jesuit order and others that are behind this organization we call the Trump administration. Yeah, so around 2 o'clock this morning, I got my first phone call from them. They actually had the old terminal that used to use to talk to Trump when he was in the White House. Every president gets a special diplomatic line with which to contact those that are in a higher position in the world. Make requests, budget requests, all kinds of things like that. Then orders are also given through that same diplomatic line. So that phone started ringing for me around 2 o'clock my time this morning, which would have been right about the time that they figured out that this was actually going to happen. It was solidified. It rang till about 8 or 9 until I made some phone calls. I never answered the phone. I'm not going to answer that phone ever again. And by the time, probably around 8 or 9 o'clock, I made some calls. I said, why are these people calling me? They know they're actually calling me on that terminal. And I couldn't figure it out. Turns out the black nobility told them, Orsini's in charge of the United States, by the way, Kathy, and they told them that I would be ready to work with them right after the election. I don't know where they got this idea. Maybe they did some kind of ceremony and they thought that would work or something. I'm not sure, but that stuff doesn't really work on me. So I'm pretty good at shielding myself from that kind of thing. They've been running around. I've gotten calls also from other politicians today that have asked, when I'm going to be sending money. I'm like, who are you? I also got calls from Israel Iraq, Iran, asked me the same question. Yep, because they told them I'm going to be paying for their war. I have an inside person inside the Mossad in Israel that told me about 2 weeks ago on a Friday night, after they were promised money to fund this show, I'm calling it a show, in the Middle East, because I was trying to figure out why all of a sudden things were heating up. And this inside Mossad person called me the next day.
So yeah, remember how you said the other day, I'm your muse in the live stream, the 4-hour live stream. We were talking about Kim and her responsibilities and what she's, supposed to do with the evil ones and things like that, right? We talked about, let me put this screen up because I hate when it does that. But I'll get back to the interview in a second. But remember how we were talking about Kim is tasked with basically ridding the world of the evil ones, but she can't do anything to them until they do something wrong, right? Here's the problem that I have with that. First of all, they're working with evil entities that are doing evil things. And second of all, we have to wait for innocent people to get hurt before she can act and do anything. So think about that. People have to die and be tortured and killed and sacrificed before she can act and do anything to get rid of these people. So my problem is, and this is me, right? I'm different. I'm very different than Kim when it comes to this. I'm a savage. Like, if I see innocent people in danger and I have the capability to destroy those that are putting them in that danger, and they're they have accomplices, right? Well, guess what? Guilty by association. They all die. That's how I would do it, right? And that's me. But obviously, I don't know what kind of deal she has going on with Source. I don't know what her limits are, what she can and can't do. All I know is that a lot of people are getting tortured, sacrificed, and killed before she's allowed to act and intervene. Which to me, I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound right to me. I mean, I'm just saying, So again, I'm very different when it comes to that. If I had the capabilities that she does, I would be destroying these people before they do these sacrifices and hurt these people, right? Because they already have the intention and they're going through with it. They're gonna do it. So, and I mean, I'm very savage when it comes to that. Like, I don't know how to say it, but I could be like, if some people get caught in the crossfires and they weren't going to do anything, but they happened to be there with the evil ones, well, too bad. You shouldn't have been there. I mean, that's how I feel about it. I'm very different when it comes to that. And that's a problem that I've had with her and how she does things. And again, I don't know the ins and outs and what she can and can't do. I just know that something's wrong with that. It sounds wrong to me. From the outside looking in, again, I wouldn't let innocent people, if I could stop it, I wouldn't let them get killed before I said, oh, now that you killed them, now I can come and kill you. Like, I think that's a big problem. That's just me, right? Like, that's just, the way I think. But anyways, not everyone's going to agree with the way I think. Obviously, people may agree with the way she does it. And it is what it is. But that's just one major difference between me and her. And people need to understand that, like, because in the past I've talked about Kim a lot, and people have compared me to her, said, "Oh, you just listen to everything she says, blah blah blah." I'm like, the hell I don't. There are a lot of things I don't agree with that she says or does, but for the most part, we have the same goal, and we're trying to get to the same place, even if we have different methods of, attack, or however you want to look at it. Ways of doing things, right? And that's what makes her her and makes me. We're gonna do we're gonna do things differently. We're gonna do things our way. I like to swear a lot. She doesn't necessarily like to swear as much as I do. But hey, she kills people for a living, so who's really worse when it comes to that, right? I mean, I'm not killing anyone. I'm just saying. And that's going off of what she says, right? But anyways, it is what it is. But again, if I had the capabilities that she does, then there'd be a lot more people going down. Let's just say that. Let me read your comments real quick. You said that was the truth right there in that game. Yeah, and again, there are a lot of games like that, and I tend to play games that have hidden truths in them, and that's what I wanted to do. If I did Twitch or anything like that, if I played games and you guys were there watching, I would show you the secrets or things that they hide in games that people aren't aware of. Most people that play the games, they don't know what the fuck they're looking at or witnessing. They think it's just part of a game, or they're like, whoa, this game is crazy. This game is amazing. They don't really know what's going on in there. And I'm like, you guys have no clue what this is. Like, there's so much in there. In many games, not just one or the other. Many games that I played growing up, I've seen so many secrets. And I could reveal that at some point, if I ever do the whole Twitch thing. But we'll see. You also said, yes, her role was to restoration of the planet. Yes. Can't do anything to them till they do something wrong. I know that might sound wrong, but she has to give them a chance. And that's the problem, right? Because you give evil people a chance. And what are evil people going to do when you give them a chance? They're going to do evil things. You get what I'm saying? That's my whole issue. Is you're giving people that you know are evil. Because I know Kim has the technology to scan their minds and brains. She knows their inner thoughts. She knows what they're going to do. She could probably see their future. I don't know how far her technology goes, but I understand the giving them a chance thing. I do get it, because until someone does something, they're not necessarily evil until the act takes place. But at the same time, this is why I say guilty by association, because if you're in a group of evil, you're part of that group and you're with them, and you have a choice not to be there, but you're choosing to be part of that group, and you know what you're doing, then to me, you're an accomplice and you're no better than the ones that are doing the evil. So you go with them. That's the way I feel about it. But anyways, you said she has to give them a chance, and if they choose to do the opposite, then she is allowed to see them and put them out of existence. She isn't allowed to kill them off before they act. And but that's my problem, right? Like, my whole issue is, okay, so we got to wait for them to do these sacrifices and rituals and kill people before they can do anything to them. And I do get it to a degree. But, again, they're already associated with the evil because they're part of it. They're part of the game. They're part of that group. They're already there. And if you just get rid of all of them, this sounds bad to say, but you get rid of all of them, you don't have to worry about someone else stepping up and coming and taking the role, because they're dead. So they're gone. Their leaders are gone. Their subordinates are gone. The soldiers are gone. Whatever. Whoever's doing this shit, you get rid of the whole fucking group. And you don't got to think about it anymore, because there's no one's going to step up to do anything, because they're all dead. Do you see what I'm saying? That's how I look at it. That's how I feel about it. But whatever. Then you said she has stopped a lot of their murdering and stopped some missiles in that one Milton storm as well. I don't know her agreement with Source, but yeah, I know. And if Source is telling her that, then I have a problem with Source. You see what I'm saying? Because Source is responsible for all this shit anyways. That's why I don't worship Source, God, creation, or anything else. I don't worship myself either. I don't worship anything. I just believe in myself. That's it. But anyways, I mean, you say it's about choice. She can't even see who they are till they try to do these things. Like those calls from them trying to reach her. She says they were eliminated. Those that were there. Yeah. And I'm your muse. I don't know if you looked at the replay, but your comments showed up there. The ones that were missing. So I did see a lot of them. I can't remember everything because it was a 4-hour stream, but I did go back and watch, and I did see your comments that were missing. So if I didn't read any of your comments, that means they didn't show up. But they are there. But anyways, I'm gonna go back to the interview real quick. I'm gonna turn on the video.
And told me that they had a Trump operative there with them. I call them the cowboys because that's what they are. And they actually said that they were prepared once Trump was elected to fund the entire war in the Middle East with the promise that they would help them decimate millions of people in the Middle East. And I said, no, nope. You know, they tried to convince me about a week ago that...
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying right here? This is what I'm saying. You heard what she just said, right? They're making agreements and deals to start wars and kill people. That is a bad thing to me, to even make an agreement. She knows they have the capability in terms of carrying it out. And even if she doesn't necessarily support them, they'll find a way, just like they did with Israel and Palestine, just like they did with Russia and Ukraine. Even if she doesn't support them financially, they're still going to find a way to start their wars. Because they still have the technology there. They still have the military. Everything's still functioning as if it's everyday, day-to-day business. Like nothing has changed. So, in other words, if they want to do something, whether she approves of it or not, they're going to do it. And they're evil enough to do that kind of shit. They're planning to do it. And they're asking her for funding or whatever. Whether she provides it or not, they're going to find a way to do it. Because they're that evil. So, this notion that they need money from her to do these evil things is not true. Because they're doing it anyway. Whether she gives them money or not. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, then why do we have these wars going on right now? I mean, people are dying as we speak. In Ukraine, in Russia, in Palestine, and Israel. And that's just the two places that people are focused on. There's death and killing all over the world. Right? So we go back to this whole 50-50 thing where the world is supposed to have 50% evil. So I guess it's okay for these people to die. I guess because that's what Source wants. Right? So fuck it. Source decides 50% of the evil is okay. So let's just leave it like that. Is that what we're doing? I don't like that. But whatever. I'm not Source and I'm not Kim. So let's keep going.
We've changed. We're not the same people. You should do business with us again. We have changed. No, you haven't changed, because I actually saw you before I got the call from the Mossad agent, because I was trying to figure out who was barking out orders to start bombing Syria and Iraq and people that weren't even involved in this current conflict. So, you know what?
This is a lot to take in right away. And just for those people who are wondering, people are calling this special line. I guess it's only presidents, those very, very high up who have access to this phone. Yep. This phone goes to you, and you are part of the system financially, and they're asking for money. They're looking for money to fund wars and so forth. So they're coming to you for cash.
Well, now, bear in mind, George, I supported Trump for 3 years of the last administration.
You did, right?
Yes. Trillions of dollars, and they never paid what was under contract at the time until 2022. They never paid my 2% administrative fee. Never. They sent us running around on wild goose chases. They sent us to Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Citibank, the Treasury Department multiple times in Manhattan to collect these fees. And of course, they never paid. However, all the Trump operatives got themselves new Bentleys and all kinds of things. So good luck to you.
Wow. Well, there's a lot going on right now in the world. They put him in this position of power. He has a huge group behind him. Folks, Kim is talking about this. You should understand that, there was a group. Now, I'm going to tell a little story, and then I want you to comment on the story, because what I was told, what I heard, and there were a bunch of generals that were disgruntled, okay? And I heard it was in a good way, these generals were disgruntled, and they didn't like the state of the country where America was going. And they had to pick a face to represent them, somebody, maybe some money, and it was maybe a little bit tough on what they had to do. So they went and they chose Donald J. Trump. They had to sit down, they talked to him, he accepted the offer to do this. Is there some truth to this? A little bit of truth on the rumor that I've heard?
Well, I would say yes. The generals that you're talking about are global headquarters. Global headquarters kind of runs, quote unquote, I call it security, but it's not security. It's security equals control. So they ran the security division for the Order of the Black Sun, meaning they were responsible for militaries worldwide, all kinds of different things. They're still around. Some of them are.
Wow.
And he wasn't approached right before then. These things are decided decades ahead of time. It's not, they used to be anyway. This time it was like hours ahead of time. They couldn't make a decision because they were kind of damned if they do and damned if they don't. You know, if they put him in or they put her in, you know, that wasn't who was actually going to get the funding for the United States and therefore the entire world. They wouldn't get their war and all of these kind of things.
This is very, very interesting stuff. But again, this is the story we're hearing. So yes, there's truth. They approached him. They talked to him. He's in this position.
Here's
Okay,
the
here he
issue
is.
that I have with this whole thing. I'm gonna say this again. I want you guys to think about something real quick. So she may not be giving them funding, but they sure as hell are sending funding overseas to other countries to support these wars that are going on, right? We're sending billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, because again, even if she's not financially supporting them as she says, they're still using the money that we make from work and using that money to fund their wars and to have these drone strikes and all the shit that you see happening, all this death and destruction. This is still happening, whether she's funding them or not. So that's my issue with the whole thing, right? Let me read these comments real quick. I'm Your Muse said, the energy they made with death and destruction for the Abraxas who feed on our negative energy of Lush, they're no longer around, but these people keep trying to get a hold of them and get angry. Well, whether the Abraxas are there or not, I guarantee you there are other entities that exist in this world that are demonic and are feeding off of our negative energy still. So even if the Abraxas are gone, there are others. There are many, many others that are still feeding off of our negative energy. So that's still happening. Rafi says, also the death, corruption, and killing in Africa, that is constant. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. There are so, even in South America and other places around the world, there's so much death and killing and things that people don't even know are happening. And when we talk about a utopia or the golden age, we got to think that once all these things stop happening, we don't have any wars, generals and presidents, all these people doing all this crazy shit, people asking Kim for money for wars. When that stuff stops happening, then I'll start to believe we're in a golden age. But right now, we're still in a dark age. We're still in a dark time. And I've yet to see the inflection point where things have changed. You know, the turning point? I haven't seen the turning point yet. And I still don't see it even on the horizon. Meaning I'm not seeing that light. You know how they say the light is coming or look for the light? I don't see it. Where is it? I'm looking for it. Now, there are good people like Kim and you guys who talk about good things, but you guys aren't the light necessarily that I'm speaking of in terms of the collective whole in the future of things happening. Now, if you guys are able to manifest that with me and others and we create a better future, then yeah, it can happen that way. But the totality of what I'm speaking in terms of a better future and a brighter future and all of that, I don't see that light yet. I still see too many negative and evil things happening before I can say, yep, there it is. That's it right there. Now we're heading in the right direction. I'm waiting for that. I'm looking for that. I'm hoping it happens. But it's one thing to say it, it's a whole nother thing for it to happen. I'm Your Muse said, when they get hold of Kim instead? Yep. Rafi said, this is fascinating live and I would love to comment more, but I have to go back to work, unfortunately. Keep up the great content. I appreciate you showing up. And yeah, come by anytime you can and leave any comments. You can leave comments on videos if you want. Yeah, I'll be, trying to figure out a consistent stream time to get as many people to show up as I can. I don't know what the best time is yet, but I'll have to figure it out. I'm Your Muse said, these generals. Does anyone know what it takes to be a general? It takes a blood ritual sacrifice. That is how they get to be generals. See, that's my point, right? So Kim is talking about generals and even George is talking about them. People that, as you just stated, have taken blood ritual sacrifices to get in the positions that they are in, and they're still there. So that's not a good thing. That doesn't scream golden age to me. That screams demonic evil age. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still have this happening. This shit is still going on. Like, after the election, I was a little dumbfounded because I was expecting Kamala Harris to win. And if at the bare minimum, I was expecting the election to not be decided on the first day. I was like, there's no way this election is going to be decided on day one. And it was. So I was very shocked. I was like, what? And these evil ones have a way of making things happen that nobody, like, they're like, what is the least likely thing that people are expecting to happen? They're expecting a clean election. Okay, let's not do that. Or they're expecting a not clean election. Let me say it in a better way. So they're like, people are not expecting a clean election, so let's do a clean election. That's how these evil ones work. Whatever you're least anticipating, they'll do that. They'll do some psychotic shit. Now, that's why when I saw that, I was like, well, what if they kill Trump before he gets into office and he never gets to do anything that he says that he's supposed to do? So that thought came into my mind. And then I saw the reveal report, and towards the end, I'm going to show you guys, Kim talks about it too. And she said the same thing. So I was like, oh, well, she just confirmed what I was thinking or feeling. And that seems to be the thing that they might end up doing. They might end up trying to actually successfully assassinating the guy, and he might not get into office at all. And that's something that people won't be expecting, right? Because we already had these fake assassination attempts, so they're going to think, oh, well, he's going to get inaugurated and nothing's going to happen. Okay. We'll see about that. But anyways, hopefully nothing happens. But if they've already shown that they can get within, shooting range of Trump and be successful, then what's to say they can't do it again, right? And actually hit the guy. But anyways, P said, yup. I'm your muse said, good to see you, Rafi. Perhaps you can come back. It's not possible to take this slow because going slow just lets them go back to sleep, and these people will never give up. Yeah, that's the problem, right? We're going so slow that it feels like we're going backwards. It's like, and then we're just going backwards. It's like, when you're like, something's rolling uphill and it has momentum going uphill, kind of like a roller coaster. But just imagine the roller coaster goes up and then it just gets stuck, and then instead of going over the hill, it just start coming slowly back down. That's what it feels like it's happening. Doesn't feel like we're getting over that hill. I don't know. So like, the election that people think, because Trump won, a lot of people that believe in Trump, they're like, oh, things are going to be better, blah, blah, blah. That's the ruse, right? Because I'm like, yeah, that's what... It's like the bigger the anticipation of goodness is, right? Where people's hopes are at their highest, right? The better it is for the evil ones to crush those dreams and hopes, right? So now everyone's like, oh, Donald Trump won. He won. He's going to be the president. He's going to do all these great things. Now the evil ones can come out of nowhere and assassinate the guy and just crush all of that shit before he even gets into office. But anyways, Peace said, I feel like the whole dynamics of this election is a mirror of the 2016 election. Yeah, except, like I said, I think they have their greatest act, I guess. The greatest act is to come. That's what I feel. And it's going to be, again, something that no one's going to anticipate. But we'll see. We'll see. Let me get back to this interview with Kim and George Iceman, so you guys can see that.
He's a prominent figure. And then, all of a sudden, he was very loved by Hollywood. I mean, actors liked him. People praised him. They would hang out with him. They were on his show. But what happened? I'm curious, Kim, on your opinion. What happened? As soon as he started to do this, it seemed like Hollywood turned on him. What was the purpose of that?
You know, how do I say this? Hollywood is very similar to politics in a lot of ways. In Hollywood, it's everybody's paid for their commercials. You know how sometimes actors, they do all of these big movies and that kind of thing, and then sometimes you'll see them in like soap commercials or selling adult diapers, and it's not a personal decision for them because they are bought and paid for by the company store we know as the CIA. So when they endorse a candidate, it has nothing to do with their personal belief systems in any way, shape, or form. What it has to do with is who's paying the bill.
See, I just want to highlight something quickly here. You see how people are saying source equals God? Source, God, creator, Frank, creator, who's source? This is my issue here. When you start to tell people source and God are equivalent, because then you confuse people and then you start to validate the Bible. And you start to say that everything in the Bible is true and God is real, blah, blah, blah. That's a big problem for me. I don't like that. But anyways, let her keep talking.
And who's promised that they're going to pay the bill. In this case, there's a lot of promises going around. So Hollywood endorsing a candidate is nothing more than them endorsing adult diapers. Sorry.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we all know it doesn't really matter who they endorse. We know this. And as of this week, we saw a lot of major celebrities and singers. We could go down the line, all came forward and put their vote behind Kamala Harris and said, "You've got to vote for her, blah, 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 blah," because they thought their popularity would, garnish some sympathy and some votes from their fans. That didn't seem to be the case in any way, shape, or form. It seemed maybe to play the reverse that I've seen on social media, where people just didn't care. Who is a celebrity who lives in a mansion or 3 or 4 mansions that has $100 million have the right to tell somebody who's suffering and has bills to pay, a mortgage to pay, car payments, has 2 or 3 kids, and can't even afford groceries? Who are they to tell somebody what to do with their life? What are your thoughts?
Well, again, it's a propaganda machine. Whether it's movies to make you feel a certain way about a certain country, or it's to make you dress a certain way, or like certain things, or eat certain foods, or choose the same fad diet. And politicians are no different. Politicians are just Hollywood for ugly people. I say that all the time because they're the same thing. They are the actors that represent the script writers on both sides. Go around, and they talk to all these other countries and that kind of thing, and that's great. But the other people also go around, but like Steven Seagal and other people and Angelina Jolie, they all go around and talk to countries too. And they do all of these publicity stunts and that kind of thing, saying they're doing all these great things in the world. And there's no difference. What's the difference? Does it mean anything to you?
To me, absolutely nothing. Anything that a celebrity tells me to do, I do the opposite. Because they don't live my life. They have a lot more money than me, a lot more clout. They live differently than me. Who am I to listen to? Why don't they tell us their secrets of youth? Why don't they tell us their secrets?
They do. It's called adrenochrome.
Well, they don't talk about it publicly. We have to find out in other ways.
Actually,
right?
they did one time.
Okay, yeah. Tell us.
It was Sean Combs, I think, P. Diddy, that put out a book, and it was all the rage. It was going to be launched on Barnes & Noble. It lasted maybe a day before they took it down. The book actually didn't say anything, but it did mention adrenochrome and Hollywood. And it was a few pages long. It sold for $100 a whack. Yeah. That was maybe like 2021, I think.
Wow. Now, I'm glad you mentioned him because he's going to be the topic of the after show. For those tuning in and watching, we'll be doing a Q&A, an after show, where we're going to discuss P. Diddy Combs, all the charges, arrests. A lot is going on with this guy, but we're going to save that for the Q&A after show. Let's get into Hollywood a little bit more. A lot of actors are unhinged right now. They're losing it. A lot of them threatened, Kim, that they were going to move out of the United States. If Donald J. Trump was president, they're going to move out of the United States. Now, let me ask you this, because I think we know the answer. Are they moving of their own free will? Or is the group behind Donald Trump going to seek some vengeance on some of these people who didn't make alliances with them?
See, this is what's funny, too, about when people say that. They say this whole thing about moving out of the United States because of Donald Trump, blah, 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 right? But their lives were as good as could be when Donald Trump was the president. So, and they never say what they make up these lies about Trump, that he's racist or sexist or whatever, all this stuff, right? And I'm like, of all the, Donald Trump does a lot of, he's not a good person, for the reasons that Kim and I talk about, but they're focused on these things that are not true. So you're not making people not like, if they're trying to make people hate Trump, it's not working because they're lying about the guy. And I'm like, well, you're saying things that aren't true, so no one's going to believe you. They're going to automatically just go to Trump's side. But if they were to speak the truth about him and say what's really happening, then maybe people would actually take them seriously, but they're not. Let me read these comments real quick. And if he's shot again and comes back to life, it totally fits the King James Version Bible narrative. This is coming to me right now, and I think that I'm onto something. Peace is having an epiphany. I'm Your Muse said, it's not, source is not God. God is that character sitting in the clouds on a throne. Exactly. And that's my problem with the whole equating God and source, because the people that read the Bible that are religious, they're going to automatically think, because the God in the Bible equates himself with source, which is a lie. He lied to the people in the Bible, and those people that read the Bible are too stupid to understand that, so they're just going to automatically assume that source and God are the same thing when they're not. God was an evil tyrant. He was an alien. He was a human. He was a person. He was an entity that existed and did evil things to humanity. He wasn't an almighty creator energy. Like, he wasn't that. But to the ignorant humans that existed back then, because he had much greater power than they did, then he appeared to be such. And not just that, but he also threatened them, right? He said, if you don't follow me and do what I want, I'll kill you. So, of course, you're going to listen to the guy that has way more power than you and is threatening you, right? I mean, it just makes sense. But anyways, P said, agreed, I'm your muse. I'm your muse says, she lets them believe that so she can get the message across, because they won't listen if she don't. Yeah, and that's the problem, because they're listening to her, but they're only just listening to her because she's saying God, but they're not really listening to her, to what she's saying fully, because they just want to hear the word God and feel good about their beliefs. So they're not interpreting exactly what she's saying. They're just like, oh, well, she said God, that's good enough for me. And that's the issue. And I'm not saying everyone's like that, but the majority are like that. P said, I wrote something about comment you read. Apparently you can't see it. Yeah, you know how it is, right? You know the drill. You know what YouTube does. If you say something that's too true, they'll block it. Because I went back and saw all your comments on the other live stream. They showed up on the replay, but they weren't there live. I'm Your Muse said, either he can't see comments or they are not showing for him again. Yep. Or he forgot where he left off. No, I'm keeping up. He missed a couple of my comments about Freemasons. Nope, I didn't miss anything. Like I said, I'll show you guys what I see, right? And like I said, if you go to the replay, it'll show up. So this is what I'm looking at, right? So if you look here, if your comment isn't there, these are all the comments that I've gotten so far. And you can compare what I'm looking at to what you can see. And again, it will show up on the replay. So your comments are not deleted. They will show up on the replay. You just have to change up the wording a little bit so that YouTube doesn't... If I don't read it, that means it didn't show up for me. Because I read every comment. I don't know why YouTube does that. It's retarded that you guys can see the comments, but I can't. Like, I don't understand how that works. I'm literally the owner of the channel, and I can't freaking see the comments. That makes no sense. That's freaking YouTube's retarded. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. Anyways, I'm gonna play the video again, and then I'll let you guys type out what you need to type out.
You know what? I don't think they have time for that right now. I think they've got bigger fish to fry. Today, they've been answering the phone for all those lovely people that they made promises to, various heads of state, militia groups, people we know as terrorists, and all of these folks. So I think they're more concerned about the terrorists than they are about the Hollywood actors moving out of the U.S. right now. Mm-hmm. And remember, it's all a show.
It's all a show.
It's all a show. So, I mean, they could say they're going to move out of the United States, but half of them have homes everywhere.
Everywhere else anyway.
So what's the difference? You know, a lot of them have dual citizenship and dual, you know, with other countries. So, okay, go.
Yeah, I agree with that. If you want to leave, leave.
Okay, is that going to change my life? Is it going to change your life in any way? Is it going to make your life better or worse? Are they going to donate their home to George? You know, their $25 million.
I'll take it.
Kim, I'll take it. I'm not getting one either, so I don't know. Who cares?
If they want to give it to me, I'll take it. But
yeah, we'll turn it into a homeless shelter.
Yes, I'm more than happy with that. We could help a lot of people with that. Kim, you know, it's an interesting time. My belief, and it's the title, Trump wins, our arrests coming. I believe he's planted seeds. Donald J. Trump has planted seeds. Others around him have planted seeds. They're now speaking publicly in the past 48 hours. Vengeance seems to be theirs. It's coming for a lot of people. I'm quite sure of it. I'll begin first with this and what Donald Trump had to say. Listen to a couple of his comments on what he says here, what he wants to do. Because to me, it sounds like vengeance. He's going to be going after certain groups of people.
But George, God blessed him. God kept him alive from
to go after
these
these people.
Yes. And the theater behind the whole fake shooting.
Yeah, well,
he's been saved.
He's been saved.
God himself came down from the heavens
and protected him. I mean, that's what he's claiming. Or he believes, or it's written for what to say.
Generals on demand.
Either way, Kim, I mean, if you're saying this is a show, sit back, grab your popcorn, and watch. This is getting really good. I'm not going to lie, it's getting good. So let me play this for you. I want everybody to turn up your volume, listen carefully. It's about a minute and a half long or so. Listen to what he says, and then we'll break it down. Here it is.
It's my plan to dismantle the deep state and reclaim our democracy from Washington corruption once and for all, and corruption it is. First, I will immediately reissue my 2020 executive order restoring the president's authority to remove rogue bureaucrats, and I will wield that power very aggressively. Second, we will clean out all of the corrupt actors in our national security and intelligence apparatus, and there are plenty of them. The departments and agencies that have been weaponized will be completely overhauled, so that faceless bureaucrats will never again be able to target and persecute conservatives, Christians, or the left's political enemies, which they're doing now at a level that nobody can believe even possible. Third, we will totally reform FISA courts, which are so corrupt that the judges seemingly do not care when they are lied to in warrant applications. So many judges have seen so many applications that they know were wrong, or at least they must have known. They do nothing about it. They're lied to. Fourth, to expose the hoaxes and abuses of power that have been tearing our country apart, we will establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to declassify and publish all documents on deep state spying, censorship, and corruption, and there are plenty of them. Fifth, we will launch a major crackdown on government leakers who collude with the fake news to deliberately weave false narratives and to subvert our government and our democracy. When possible, we will press criminal charges. Sixth, we will make every Inspector General's office independent and physically separated from the departments they oversee, so they do not become the protectors of the deep state.
They will prosecute.
Oh my God, the deep state's going to arrest the deep state? You're kidding me right now.
That's
Do you know the history of this family?
Well, talk to us. Tell us a little bit, Kim.
Okay. Well.
See, and this is funny that she says that because that's the whole thing, right? I keep hearing, this is so stupid. So Donald Trump is talking about the deep state, right? Yet, I saw about a month ago or so, I forgot exactly when, he was sitting at some roast or something, I don't know what the fuck it was. It was just something where a bunch of politicians were together and he was talking. And then Chuck Schumer, who's a Democrat and hates Donald Trump, was sitting right behind him while he was talking, and Trump was roasting him right in front of his face. And if you guys don't know, Chuck Schumer supposedly hates Donald Trump, yet he's sitting there yucking it up 2 feet away from the guy while the guy is just roasting his ass. And I'm like, wait a second, aren't they like political enemies? Don't they hate each other? Yet they're sitting there. And this is the bullshit this is the plain in your face shit that the 3D shit that humans can't even see. I'm like, how do you, I'm like, okay, so these guys they supposedly hate each other, yet they're all sitting together, enjoying a good time, laughing with each other. It's so blatant in people's face. Like Kim said, like Kim said, she said the deep state's gonna come after the deep state. Exactly. They're all together. They're all working together, yet they're acting like they hate each other in front of the public, and then the public is stupid enough to believe the bullshit. And I'm like, how the fuck are you guys that blind? And it's like right in the stuff is like, it's so blatant. It's like right in everyone's face. Yet people are still falling for it. This is the majority of people fall for this shit and believe in politics. So it's hard for me to have faith in people that fall for this kind of shit. And that's why when she said this deep state going after the deep state, that was the first thing that came to my head. And I'm like, so who are you going to go after? Chuck Schumer, the guy you were just yucking it up with like a few weeks ago? Like, who are you going after? Who are these people that, you know, are doing these things? And why do they even exist? If they're doing all these evil things or things that are wrong or corrupt, why do they have positions of power in the government? They should be ousted immediately. You shouldn't need to elect a president to get rid of people that are corrupt. It's, if people know that they're corrupt and they exist, then why are they there? But that's the game, right? It's all bullshit. Oh, it's so annoying. Anyway, so let me read your comments real quick before I continue. Yep, they aren't there. I commented about a video. I have a harsh man in Freemasons, his Masonic ceremony. He said, I wrote that I'm beginning to think that Trump is Antichrist because at an event after he won, a bunch of Christians were singing songs like honestly seems worship of Trump. Yep. Hillary never went to jail. I can't see the comments you made about the video either, just FYI. I mean, you said, why do I see your comments that he can't see? So weird. I mean, you said, LO, Kim is so funny. George, don't accept it. They are so into the white hat Q thing. I mean, you said, they're all deep state and friends behind the scenes. Exactly. I mean, you said, it's like the police investigating themselves. They did nothing wrong. Exactly. Rafi said, it's like watching professional wrestling. We all know that it's staged and they're our best of friends, yet people think it's serious and get into the drama of one wrestler trying to rip the head off. Yes, Rafi, a show. Exactly. And that's why I tell people not to take this shit serious, because it's really not. It's all a show. It's all fake. And then at the same time, when people do take it serious, like January 6th, or even when Trump did the rally and he got shot at, you end up being a victim because you got involved in the show. You wanted to be part of the show and you were made part of the show. Now your ass is in jail for like 20 or 30 years for some minor bullshit that you should not be in jail for, but you are. Because you wanted to be part of the show. And you weren't supposed to be part of the show, but you involved yourself. Anyways, I don't know. People are stupid. I mean, I don't know what it's going to take for humans to figure this out, but here I am trying to talk to them and, making videos to see if people will wake the fuck up. All right, let's go back to this.
Number one, their real last name is Von Kempf. It's not actually Trump. It changed to Trump when they all came to the United States. Trump's uncle was a part of Project Paperclip, which is where they took all of the Nazi scientists and brought them to the U.S. to continue genetic modification of human beings. Great guy. Father actually cleaned out all of an entire neighborhood in New York, and this is actually public information. He cleaned out an entire neighborhood in New York full of African-American people so that he could build a different real estate facility where you can make millions of dollars. Okay, that's nothing. And this guy here, I can tell you with 100% certainty, long before he ever became president, and it continued throughout the time he was president. I know people personally that did real estate deals with this guy, and he never paid the real estate agents. I also know other people who are contractors that worked on his resorts and other facilities and buildings and whatnot is real estate, and they never paid them for their construction. They would file bankruptcy right before the project was actually completed, and all he did was wipe out all the debt, never paid the people, and then maybe paid a few people for some minor construction details that had to be completed. So he got the whole resort that cost billions of dollars for, maybe a couple of million. Yep. Wow. Great guy. Ivanka.
Yes.
Ivana's a daughter, right?
Yes.
Ivana actually has been prostituted out since the age of about 8-9 years old to many of Trump's friends. Yes, she has. And I actually know some of the people in the Middle East who have bedded with her, vetted her. Yep.
Wow. You're dropping a bomb right now. You're dropping major.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
and
dropping
they're still
bombs.
doing it. Let's just say it hasn't been 30 days since that happened.
Oh man, this is crazy right now.
Yep.
Listen,
they all do it. Bush Sr. did too.
What I could, from my understanding and what I know, only from my understanding and what I know from firsthand conversations. So I'll say this to the audience: firsthand conversations. I do know of celebrities, or so I've heard. I've never met, but I've heard of celebrities that are sold to go to the Middle East and sleep with these barons, these sheiks, for astronomical amounts of money. I have heard this.
Or deals, or information, or wars, or bombings. And they're not just like your sheiks, they're not just like the royal families and stuff. That does happen. But they're also heads of the Hezbollah, the Taliban, the Osama bin Laden crew. Oh yes, absolutely. And it's not just celebrities. Now they do also have, this is a fact, celebrity clones too. So the original one might not go, but they might send others out once they become famous. This facility that they used to replicate them in was actually in Mongolia, and it was located underneath a monastery called ONGI. And the Russians originally, or the whatever you want to call them, during the days of the Soviet Union, they originally built this facility for their Red Sparrow program, which is similar to China's Black Widow program, where they build these women, they breed these women, genetically modify these women to be insanely beautiful, and then they become prostitutes or they become honeypots. Yep. And then they expanded it out to Hollywood. Why not? You can make a lot of money, that kind of thing. Presidents, everybody gets a clone, and they all come out of this facility.
So you're saying they're actually making clones of certain celebrities that they use to sell off. Now, I've heard this before. It came from a guy back in the day who had claimed he went into a arena and he's seen clones and they would do things with his soul. And I forget the young man's name at the time, but now he seems to have vanished. I don't know where he is. He came out. He talked about this for a long while. He seemed to vanish. But you're reassuring from your information that you're aware of that, yes, there are clones.
100%. You can look up the monastery. It was in the main facility in the entire world was actually there in Mongolia.
And thank you for the this amazing Jen Lee. The gentleman's name was Donald Marshall. Thank you, Jen. That was the gentleman's name, Donald Marshall, who claims he was a writer and he would write music, and that's why he lasted so long, because they would make money off him. But he saw these things and he was stopped from talking about it. Again, I never seen anything like this. There are rumors that go around it. They say that the movie The Boys of Brazil talks about this. So if you're interested in watching a movie, The Boys of Brazil talks about them genetically modifying people using their DNA and creating clones. So they always say, right, Kim, that they tell you what they do before they do it.
Did you know, and I'll just tell you this briefly, in Brazil, there is still a town. It's called the Twins Town. You can look it up. I don't remember the exact name. It's in the Amazon. And everyone is born with blonde twins. Like everybody has blonde twins. Even if they're Hispanic or Portuguese or Brazilian, wherever, it doesn't matter. They all have blonde twins. Now, there is also, here's another fun fact for you. Did you know that as the Nazi power started to decline, that Dr. Mengele actually, there is documentation where he actually went to Brazil and continued his work?
Interesting.
You know that?
Can people find this type of information?
Yep, there's a documentary about some of it anyway on the History Channel. You can find it on YouTube. There is other information. You can look up the town of twins where the twins have blonde hair and blue eyes. They can't figure it out. They've tested the water. They're trying to figure out how it actually happened. And that was a gift from Dr. Mengele. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, I'm going to add more to this, and I want your feedback or what you might know. There was a movie that came out a few years back, a while ago, maybe
Isn't
I'm
that
going to say a while.
I did look that up, too, to see what she was talking about in terms of that town existing, because I wanted to see. I was like, oh, wow, it's actually a real thing. Let me read your comments real quick. Iron Sheik versus King Kong Bundy. This is so thought-provoking. Peace said, right, so imagine they shoot at him again and he gets a wound to the head and lives. I guess they tried it already with the fake ear thing. But if they do it again and he lives, it's what's written. King James Version about King James Version. I'm your muse. That's the script, the biblical show of the end times. Peace said, I mean, people literally worship him no matter what he does. I'm your muse said, yes. I saw the documentary about the twins, and yes, after Mangala. Yeah, there is something that there is some truth to some certain things that people don't know. Like the original humans of the universe were blonde hair and blue eyes, and they were basically perfect beings. They were white, blonde hair, blue eyes. But it's been turned into this racial thing with Hitler and all of that. But it was actually, it's been smeared. Everything on Earth has been turned inside out and made to be evil. But the original humans of the universe were blonde hair, blue eyes, and with white skin. And they were basically perfect beings. And that's why Hitler was trying to do that. But unfortunately, he turned it into an evil thing. And he was being controlled by evil entities, evil Pleiadians. And that's why he did the thing he did. But people don't really know what the truth is, so. But I don't want to get too much into that right now. On my comment not seen by you again. Yeah. Like I said, I'll show you the comments that I see right now. This is what I'm looking at. So if you guys typed anything and it's not here, yeah. You can thank YouTube for their glorious censorship. I apologize for that. There's nothing I can do about it. But I'm going to go back to the video real quick.
12, 13, 14 years, let's say 12, 13 years ago, maybe longer, called The Island. And the actors were basically, they left this island only to find out that they were clones. And they were being cloned for their organs. Mm-hmm. So they were actually organ donors. So if someone had to have a surgery, something happened, then they would take these clones and use their organs for people because they found their lookalikes. So they did this, over 10 years ago. So this is an incredible...
I didn't see the movie, but where was the island? Did it say?
They might have. I just remember seeing that, and I was perplexed. I never even thought this to be anything. This is way before I even consider that. But organs, they would basically say, they're telling you to your face, they're going to create clones to harvest.
I used to watch, I used to read comics and watch cartoons, and I've always had an intuition to know what certain truths were before I knew they were true. And I would see things with clones, so I always knew. I was like, yeah, clones can easily exist. But until I actually started to see certain people talk about it and how deep it was, I didn't really know how real it was. Although I had the sense for it. I had the intuition for it.
Organs for real people, and people would pay for their clones. It's a program. You pay for it, and they would make them perfectly. But these two clones seemed to escape and wanted freedom, and they were shocked when they come to hear the truth. It's phenomenal, but again, goes back to the cloning system. Again, Hollywood. The truth is stranger than fiction. That's what they say.
I asked that question because that's what Guantanamo Bay is underneath the whole. There's a huge facility in Cuba, enormous facility where they. It's like a med spa. If you need a new heart, new lungs, you're one of the elite. They fly you in there and take care of you, do all the things, new arm, new leg, whatever it is you need. They've been doing it for decades, and it's technology that we as regular people never see. You lose a leg, it doesn't matter. They'll go ahead and make you a new one. I actually know someone that in the 1980s actually had a similar type transplant under Fort Bragg. Well, now it's called Fort Liberty.
Just a little side note. Humans are supposed to be able to regenerate any part of their body perfectly. But that's also been corrupted in our DNA where we can't do that anymore. We're supposed to be able to fly and be telepathic and all these things, and some people can still access that, but you have to train yourself to do it. But as far as regrowing our limbs. We're supposed to be able to do that, like, ourselves. And I mean, like, we shouldn't have scars. All these little defects that humans have, we shouldn't have, but we do because our DNA was fucked with.
This gentleman here said Scarlett Johansson is in that film. Yes, Ewan McGregor, I believe, also in that film. But I recommend people check it out. And we've given you two movies, The Boys of Brazil and The Island. These are two movies that talk about that. And they talk about cloning and harvesting and so forth. But, you know, we're just getting into that because we're
anyway, the point is all presidents farm out their kids. Bush Sr. did it. I know Bush Jr. did it. That's an absolute fact. Cheney did it. Matter of fact, I think Cheney slept with Bush Sr. or daughter. Bush Sr. or Jr.? Can't remember.
Okay.
Yep. So
let's get back on track in regards to Trump's vengeance and what's about to take place. Because I truly believe that his group, I believe it. I think they have to do something. I think they need to do something for all those voters to see that this is the real deal. Because 4 years of the same thing ain't going to work. I truly believe that. I think somehow, some way, Kim, I have a feeling that they're going to have to pull some moves. So
well, let's talk about voters. Do you think they care about voters now?
I don't think they care because they're already in. However, things can happen.
What are you guys going to do?
Oh, well, I don't think anyone can do anything.
Do what? Walk around in a Chewbacca bikini in the Capitol building? What? What are you going to do?
I don't think they can do anything.
Nobody's going to care, and he doesn't care because he's never going to be president again. This is it. Once they're elected, especially for a second term, no one cares. And the only reason why they care about your votes in the first place is so that it's believable. What is the believability factor of the line of EBS, everyone BS's, that you are going to buy? That's it. Or is everybody going to buy this is the guy? Is the world going to buy that this is the guy? It doesn't matter as long as they get in there. And once they're in, they could care less about you people. And number two, I can tell you for a fact, firsthand, that they don't care about anybody in the Middle East or anywhere else.
Yeah. It's a mockery. Well, let's see what people are saying publicly and see what happens. We begin with Elon Musk. Elon Musk says, my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. He said this a while back. This is what he'd like to do. Prosecute Fauci. Go after Fauci. Do you think anything will come from that, or that's gone?
You know, I think, in my opinion anyway, these people are the same people that write and approve scripts for Hollywood. And I know that for a fact from somebody that was a lawyer for Universal Studios. So, I mean, you could even get him on your show and you want to have him say that. I don't know if he would publicly, but the CIA approves every script. And it's not just the CIA, it's also the SSP. So Elon Musk himself, I have an entire video in an interview that was done by Sunny, who does a lot of our newscasting, stuff like that. I hate to call it casting. News. She does our news. And she interviewed his babysitter. And he used to play with demons when he was a little kid. So you want to arrest an old man that clearly everybody was talking about a few years ago that was over in Wuhan and had a lot of dealings in Project Paperclip and all that kind of stuff? Sure, go ahead. Make him cannon fodder. He don't care. His career's over. He's not going to run for office or be in the public eye or anything. He doesn't care.
Now, it's funny you mentioned that because there were theories he came out as Dark MAGA. His Halloween costume was like kind of occultic, satanic with what he was wearing. And now you're coming out saying that as a child, he played with demons.
Yep. He did. He even talks about it. She talks about it in the interview. It scared her. His mother is even worse. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she talks about all of it. She was a full confession about her time when she used to be over there with Bohemian Grove and that they would go. And, you know, these are his friends. Come play with my friends. There was one point where she walked in there and he wasn't on the ground anymore.
Wow.
She talks about the whole thing in this interview.
And where can people see this interview?
We have it. I don't know if it made it up to our channel, but you know what? I'll give you.
Please.
I'll give you a copy of the full interview.
Thank you.
Demon boy.
Yep. So you can post it.
Thank you. I'd love to post it and share with everybody just to create more content. Again, she was interviewing his babysitter, so this is going to be her testimony. So I'd love to share that. Moving along, because we only got a little bit of time left before we go to the after show, the Q&A. Here's another gentleman who came out and see what he posted. Apparently, this is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychiatric, psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, vitamins, clean foods,
compounds,
sunshine, exercise. It goes on, and he says, I have two messages for you. One, preserve your records, and two, pack your bags. Thoughts on that?
You know,
All right, let me read your comments before we continue. Let's see. Oh, you guys have been relatively quiet. Imagine, oh, I can't. Imagine he now does what he's saying: no fluoride, no vax, no pesticides, etc., no war. Then he would fit in a narrative also. The Island was a documentary. Yes, I saw the twins documentary. The island didn't exist. It's what they told the clones were going to before they were to harvest them. I have a story about Trump that happened in 2020. Oh, please do tell. But I'm going to keep on. I'm going to go back to this. So, again, if I didn't read your comment, that means it didn't show up. But I'm going to go back to the video.
He's been a long time advocate against vaccines and a number of different things. You know, he's kind of like the black sheep of the Kennedy family. The Kennedy family is a known black son family. I know that that's hard for people to hear because everybody thinks JFK and JFK Jr. is coming back and all this stuff. JFK Jr. is not coming back. He is actually officially dead. The people that are pretending to be JFK Jr. are definitely not JFK Jr. They are SSP people that probably knew him way back in the day. They're that old. But anyway, the point is, are they actually going to do anything about the pharmaceutical industry during the Trump administration? Is that your question?
Yes.
Oh, hell no. I mean, he supported the pharmaceutical industry. He came out with Operation Warp Speed. Does anybody not remember this?
Yes, of course. What about the FDA? Are certain people?
Pfizer is a big campaign donor.
Wow.
Millions and millions of dollars from Pfizer. Do you know the amount of contracts that those SSP operatives that are behind Trump promised the pharmaceutical industry? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah. Well, we have to talk about this because it's important. People want to know. They see it out there. They're playing this game.
Not that Robert Kennedy won't try.
I got to say my opinion, and this is just my opinion. The way he comes across to me is very real. I think he's upset with these people. I think something happened. He may not share that with all of us. Something happened where he's vindictive with these people. He's upset at these people. I like it. I won't lie. I'll be happy if he goes after some of these people for the things they've done and the harm he's put on the human race, on Americans, Canadians, with the food and stuff. I'd love to see him do something. I'll pray that he does something. Whether he does or not, you know, Kim, how it is. But maybe one or two people will go down. I don't know. I'm hoping that this guy does something because he comes across as genuine.
Speaking of people that go down, honestly, for him, he's had a really rough life. And all of the kids that are in the order have very rough lives. It's, and some people manage to pull out of it. Some people get involved like he did with some drugs and alcohol and all that kind of stuff. They go through a lot. He managed to pull out of it. I mean, that's awesome. Great for him with his recovery, and that's great. And he's really trying. But as you know, it's an uphill battle. And there are a lot of threats behind the scenes. But like I said, he's the black sheep, of the family. People that may potentially go down is the word on the street is that they are going to get Trump into office, even with his head that's about 4 inches thinner than it was before, because when you lose weight, your whole head shrinks. I hear. No, but anyway, the point is that they are going to make him go out a martyr. Possibly, they're discussing this before the inauguration, and by go out, they're saying that they're going to be some kind of a big assassination attempt or an actual assassination attempt that
might work.
Does the JFK, JFK moment is what they're calling it, ridiculousness. And then they're going to have Vance carry on, and Vance is going to do all the things that Trump promised they're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, are you going to see some arrests? They may put up a little bit of a movie. They like that kind of thing. It's the same thing with P. Diddy. P. Diddy's no different.
Hold that. Let's save that for the after show. Let's hold that one. But I get what you're saying.
See, and that's what I was talking about. Because I had thought about this before I saw her say that. After we did our stream and after the election, I was thinking about it, and then I was like, well, I wasn't anticipating this to go so smoothly for Trump. So something has to give. I was like, it can't be this easy. It can't be he just won fair and square and they're just going to let him get into office and that's it. And that's when it hit me where I was like, what if they just kill him before he even gets into office and he doesn't get to do anything? So that was the first thing that came to my head as soon as I analyzed the election. Or, once the election was over, I was like, this went way too smooth. Something has to give somewhere. So when she said that, it clicked for me because I had already thought about it. So I was like, okay, so that's what they're going to do then. And she said it. I already thought about it. So I'm like, okay, that might be what happens. And if that happens, it's going to be pretty crazy. That's all I can say. But who knows? They've done crazy shit all the time, so. P said, here's what happened. I have always strongly disliked him, starting with the Apprentice show. Then when 2020 happened, and he was acting like he was against the narrative of COVID and Fauci, I thought maybe he really does care. Yeah. Yeah. I remember you said he did mention HCQ and ivermectin, which helped a lot of people, and they didn't want that. They wanted that jab into everyone. He did say we should have a choice. They're so predictable. Yeah. I'm gonna keep. So again, I read you guys just to show you guys. This is what I see. So if you guys type something and it didn't show up, this is what I see. But I'm gonna play the video and see what else you guys say. But yeah, I really think. All right, let me see what Peace said. Peace said. Then he came to me in a dream, literally was acting like he was a friend. It was real, not just a dream. Obviously due to stress of C-19 and the cray time. Yeah, I hear you. I'm gonna keep playing this video and then I'll see what else you guys type.
It's unbelievable. There's obviously I've heard such rumors in regards to him and what's going on, but man, if this is just a movie and we're watching,
it's always a movie.
I'd love to interview the guy who wrote it. It's fabulous. I tell you, whoever's writing this
is a never-ending movie. There's always politics. The movie never ends. It just
it's the never-ending series.
It's just a running series that everybody keeps watching for whatever reason. Until the recent events where we all got locked down thing.
Yeah.
And until then, nobody really cared about what the government was doing. Did you care? Did it affect your life? I mean, raise taxes, lower taxes. Did they really raise them or lower them? All they do is confuse you to make it look better or worse than it did before.
I gotta say something. I gotta do something.
It's gonna keep going. And Kim, we're gonna keep following up. And I have some more questions before we sign up to the after show because I think people are enjoying this so far. And thank you for being here. But this is something that this broadcaster said. I listened to it. I thought it was interesting. I'm gonna play it for you and for everybody watching, and then I want your comments on it. Okay. Take a listen. Here it is.
It's all fascinating, and we're not done with Jeffrey Epstein. I can tell you that for a fact. Can't tell you how I know, but I can tell you for a fact we're going to hear a lot more about Jeffrey Epstein in the coming year, and you may be even hearing from him directly. More on that as I'm allowed to tell you.
Listen, I mean, I found that to be interesting because that was on a live broadcast. Jeffrey Epstein, we haven't heard the end of Jeffrey Epstein. What are your thoughts on this guy?
I've got a video of Jeffrey Epstein and Trump partying together, too.
Wow!
The way she
I
said
do. It was from a long time ago, but yeah, we do.
Really? Now, Kim, is this a video that could get him in trouble, or they're just having a good time together?
I don't have the explicit parts of the video on the news.
Okay, all right.
But let's just say there's clearly a, how do I say this? They're at a store.
Okay.
We call a party, and there's all these women,
At a store.
And then they pick one, And you can clearly see what they're doing there. But is Epstein still alive? Yeah.
So Epstein is still alive?
Went to Iceland. Mm-hmm.
In Iceland?
Yep.
So will we hear from Epstein again, do you believe?
Oh, I don't know. Are they going to make him cannon fodder twice? They keep saying we're going to hear from all these people, but we don't, do we? All these alleged people that committed suicide in jail. And, it's a free ticket for those people. They just get a whole new life and a whole new passport, and they go live their life just fine.
I hear that.
Iceland, is all the rage for these people.
Iceland?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, Kim, people are talking about Trump possibly being also part of the system. It's the only way. You've got to be a part of the system to be chosen to be in power. Now, a video was leaked. I tried to upload the video to show you and show everybody. Maybe you've seen this video. I wasn't able to get it. And it seems to be Donald Trump at a Freemason lodge during a ceremony.
Oh.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but
I have not on the internet, but I would love to see that.
I saw it, and I had it. I don't know why it wouldn't upload, and I may have to get it And when we upload this to Patreon, I'll get that and try and place it. But there is a video circulating of Donald J. Trump at a Masonic lodge, part of one of their rituals. What are your thoughts on that?
Wouldn't be the first ritual. How old was he? Because I know for a fact that I actually have seen the one from his 40th birthday ceremony.
Maybe that was it. Oh, no. This was an actual. No, this was not at a party, but it seemed to be.
Oh, no, this isn't a party either. This is a ritual. And in the one that I've seen, which is not on the internet, the one that I've seen, it's the girl's going to be about 9 or 10 years old. And there is a, let's just say, things we don't typically do as human beings to 9 or 10-year-old children. And then there's some blood involved and some blood drinking involved. And that's how they celebrate their 40th birthday when you're in the order.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody watching this program that this show is definitely coming off YouTube right after it's aired. It's 100% going to be off. But
you'll be flagged.
Oh, yeah. This show is going too far, but it will be.
But hey, maybe you won't be, George, because Trump is going to save YouTube, and there's no censorship anymore.
Is that true? What's he saying? Is that the new when he's going with the new pitch? He's going to save YouTube, no more censorship, because Twitter's saying that they're going to be able to broadcast. They're going to pay people like myself to do shows.
I don't want to lose another channel.
Are they not going to do that? What's the deal? No idea.
They do. You do have the ability to do shows on Twitter, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
It's video. It's audio. Is it video now as well?
They're trying to go with. They're going to try and go with video so we can broadcast. It's something they're trying to push. That they want, I guess, Twitter to compete with YouTube. So
because nobody's ever done that before.
Yeah. Well, he does have the president of the United States behind him, and he's got a few other powerful people that are going to use their influence. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Did you hear him say that he could be arrested? He's going to be arrested if Trump doesn't become president.
He will be arrested, Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it.
Do you know why?
Why? Tell us. Drop a bomb for us, would you?
Because of all the deals he and that one company over in North Carolina had made on some. It's a very rare mineral that was underneath that whole region. They say they're mining for lithium. They're not. It's something else. And that is critical to his SpaceX program.
Wow.
And his success. Yeah.
How nice.
And so that whole hurricane, all that stuff, all them trying to kick everybody out of their homes, Kamala's little stipend that wouldn't even buy a family afford food for a week.
Lithium.
It's not lithium. They say it's lithium.
But it's not.
It's not. Mm-hmm.
Wow. And the hits keep on coming. And
behind the scenes, the Trump operatives promised him that the Dogecoin or Doggy-coin or whatever you call it, Dogecoin, D-O-G-E, his cryptocurrency is going to be the new currency of the Treasury of the United States.
Now let me listen.
Sorry, I can't help myself.
No, I get it.
Ridiculous.
I get it, but let's get into that briefly. You know what I mean? We got a few more minutes here. Crypto. He seems to be talking about it. I'm going to say I've been watching it. Now, hear me out, guys. The crypto, the Bitcoin specifically, I believe was at 70,000.
75.
It was. It's at 100, I think. It went up.
Oh, really?
I think it's at. I could be wrong. I think it's. As of about 2 hours ago, somebody messaged me and said they voted for Trump because he supports the digital system and that he was going to help, the Bitcoin. So it's jumped to 100,000. My advice to him was, listen to me, my friend. That's good and dandy. But as soon as you hear rumblings of a war, you better sell because that money's going to vanish. I'll tell you right now. Mm-hmm. Rumblings of a war and that digital is gone. Oh, it's still 75. So someone says, Dame says it's still at 75. So It's got up about 5,000. It's got up about 5,000. They say it might even go up more. What are your thoughts on the digital currency? Is it possible with crypto? Will it exist?
Okay. Have you ever heard of USTC?
I have not, no.
Okay. USDX.
No, I don't follow any of that stuff. I'm not a digital guy.
All right. I don't know if it's actually in the market yet, but even BRICS has been trying to come out with a digital currency. I know for a fact for about 5 or 6 years, this has become the currency of the underworld. It's called USDTC or USDX. And what they've done is this is being promoted by the SSP operatives, same ones that are running the Trump organization. And these fake US dollars are supposed to be made good someday. They have not gotten them into the banking system successfully. They will never get them into the banking system successfully. But they're using it currently to get Saudi Arabia to do something, to get the Kuwaitis to do something. They couldn't actually push around fake dollars anymore, and they couldn't sell dinar anymore because that was the big thing. It was going to revaluate. It's going to be worth a lot of money. And so now they're pushing these. These are also cryptocurrencies. What they would like to do, because Treasury is the Order of the Black Sun, which is what those operatives are, along with the Trump, whatever that is, walking around. Even the live one before was a member of the order. They would like to replace the Federal Reserve with the Treasuries system worldwide. And they want to have the Treasuries issue those coins. Yep.
Wow. Do you think it'll happen?
No.
Wow. So we're not, the crypto is, this thing is not going to happen with the crypto.
There's people, you know, I mean, yeah, in the US, we are using cards a lot and that kind of thing. But predominantly, you know, maybe in the Western world, you can even say in Europe. But in the Western world, I mean, you know, yeah, maybe it's possible. But even California has rolling brownouts right now. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You know, that's number one. Number two, it's ridiculous over there right now. But what are you going to do with Africa? What are you going to do with Brazil? What are you going to do with, you know, in places where everybody pays cash? Even Eastern Europe, a lot of people pay cash. They're, you know, they don't even have power all the time in Pakistan. What are you going to do? Yeah. Like South Africa has rolling brownouts, Botswana, you know, I mean, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the electronic infrastructure, nor the cables to make it happen. It would be hundreds of years. I've said this before. When it was the Fed, they don't want to not have a U.S., what do they call it, an ID program where it's social crediting. They want to have that. They just didn't want it run by the Fed. They want it run by the Treasury. And this dodgy coin and this USTC and all that stuff is a part of that. That's why they're pushing it so heavily.
Now, let me ask you, do you believe the other side is going to have the dollar or the money based on gold and silver? Do you believe that's going to be a huge part of our financial system moving forward? Is money going to be backed by gold and silver in the future?
Yes.
Okay, very well said. Thank you for that. And guys, if you're tuning in and my voice is a little bit loud, it seemed that I was yelling. I do apologize. I was checking my volume. So I do apologize. I didn't mean to come across yelling, and so I'm very sorry about that. I was just had to fix the volume. So my apologies. Kim, two more questions. You know, he's got some charges, right? All these charges on him. The Democrats are going after him. I'm going to play this clip.
It's not the Democrats.
Or whoever it may be.
Fight.
Fight. Let's, everyone loves a good underdog story, by the way.
I know, don't they?
They do. So let's play this for everybody. Take a listen and give me your comments. Here it is.
We have some news about Special Counsel Jack Smith, this man right here. Donald Trump said recently that he would fire Jack Smith, quote, within 2 seconds of taking office. Well, we found out that he may not have that opportunity. The reason is that the Department of Justice, where Jack Smith works, cannot prosecute a sitting president. Fox News is told that Jack Smith will be gone from his post as special counsel, meaning the cases will be gone before Trump takes the oath of office at noon on January 20th. This is the documents case, though that was dropped already by Judge Eileen Cannon back over the summer, and it's on appeal, but also this case for Trump's alleged efforts to try to overturn the 2020 election. So given the fact DOJ policy says you cannot prosecute a sitting president, expect Jack Smith cases to be done. The last case, and I'll end on this, is that Atlanta case that deals with the 2020 elections. That's a local Georgia case. We've seen over the last year how that has played out with Fonnie Willis, Nathan Wade. That has many problems, many different delays. So the bottom line for my story to all of you right now, Donald Trump's legal problems have essentially all gone away since he won last night. Harry.
Isn't that funny? Because when all that stuff was happening, I was telling people, I was like, this is all performative garbage. Like, don't listen to this crap. Like, it's all fake. It's all BS, right? All these charges. Oh, woe is me, Trump. He has all these charges and he's going to jail. He's taking pictures and all this nonsense, right? And meanwhile, he was just sucking the money out of everybody who was supporting him, getting all types of donations and stuff to support his legal battles. I was like, this is all a bunch of crap, but people were falling for it. So I was like, wow. People that support Trump are really retarded because they really think that this shit is real. And they think that they really have to support him in his legal fights and all that. Now look what's happening right now. All that garbage, all that show, all that acting, all that stuff that they did, the performances they put up, right, to make you believe that this guy was actually going through something, it's literally erased into nothingness. So it was just a complete waste of time. So it was just a show. It was just a show. It was fake. But people really believed in that shit. And I'm like, wow, you guys are really fucking stupid. But whatever. Anyways, let me read your comments. But, alright, I'm going to read. I think it was a projection that they put into my mind, literally. Yeah, they can do that. I mean, we said, George really believes Trump is chosen by God. LOL. See how he gets all hyped about the chosen one. P said, there is no logical explanation to the worship of him. His warped speed has killed him. P said, George, if he likes Trump, couldn't handle when she mentioned warped speed, and he quickly changed the subject. I wanted to actually like a president, LL, and as soon as he went on warp speed, that was it for me. I woke up. Yeah, I've never believed in any politics or any presidents or anyone, really. I've always only believed in myself ever since I was a child. And I've always been awake to the world that I was in. I just didn't know all the ins and outs until I started to have people show up in my life. Kim was one of them that showed me little things here and there that I missed. But even way before I saw Kim, I already knew a whole bunch of things. Way before I knew who she was. Anyways, let me finish this video and then we can have a discussion.
So it looks like, Mr. Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, doesn't have any more cases and is probably going to be fired. Trump will have no more legal fees or no more legal issues at all. What are your thoughts?
First of all, I would say that there is something to that Smith thing from the Matrix movie. You remember that?
Yep.
Just saying. But are they going to make the cases disappear? Who knows? Will they delay them while he's in office? Yes. And last but not least, I find it very interesting that you can't get a job at a bank if you have a federal offense. You can't get a job working for the government in any other government position, but you can be president. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's all a dog and pony show, honestly.
Yeah.
9,000 federal convictions. Did he really do some of that stuff? Sure. Are there people that were going after him? Absolutely. He's done a heck of a lot worse than he's being prosecuted for business-wise, and he uses the legal system to his advantage. And you know those people. I mean, come on, George. I mean, do you actually believe for billionaires, or millionaires, that the legal system is for those people?
No, I agree. I think they have their own rules, and we don't. It's simple. If you go to Walmart, all right, and you grab a $6 handbag and walk out the store, in certain states, you're going to be arrested. All right,
everywhere.
But when you're in the billions and you're one of these people and you rip off a country for hundreds of millions of dollars, guess what? Nothing happens. So do as I say, not as I do.
That's exactly right. And the court systems are for us, the little people. They're not for those people. Are you kidding me? And just the fact that they're showing you this dog and pony show is for pure entertainment purposes, so that you'll feel sorry for him and that the Democrats are after me. Oh my God!
It's the underdog story, and it looks like Hollywood people already.
I said that shit. If you go look at my Trump videos in the summer that I made, I was saying this is all bullshit. Don't fall for it. I've been saying this for years. I mean,
this, if that may be the case, and this is just a movie. I'm going to ask two questions to you. Number one, well, it's not so much the question, more for you to explain your theory, because you say that this is not the actual real Donald Trump. This is a clone or a lookalike. Can you just elaborate quickly on that, please?
Well, they pretty much have scrubbed everything off the internet, where he just happened to be about a foot shorter in some cases. He will gain and lose 20 pounds in a day, and I'm sure anybody watching this would love to know how you would do that. 20 pounds in a day. His face and his skull has changed. It is now several inches thinner. It's also taller than it was before. So there are a lot of things that are just on the internet that you can find. Number one. Number two, I was actually on the phone with the family when they pulled the plug. He was very sick. He had prostate cancer in the past. It reoccurred. This is not a malicious thing in any way, shape, or form. He ended up having a reoccurrence, and then it kind of spread throughout his body, and there was nothing that they could do. He chose not to seek any kind of treatment and passed away, maybe a year after he left office.
There you have it, whether you believe it or not. There it is. And on the last question for you, and this is an important question, Kim.
I will say
everybody
this
watching.
One little minor detail that's actually pretty important. It's actually not a minor detail. And I want you guys to understand this. Whether that's the real Trump or not is irrelevant, because he's still having the same exact effect and impact as if he was the real Trump. He pretty much sounds like the real Trump. He pretty much mostly looks like the real Trump. He pretty much acts like the real Trump. People believe in him like he's the real Trump. He's doing the same shit that the real Trump would do. So What's the difference? What does it matter whether Trump is dead or alive if the clone is just as effective as the real one? It makes no difference. It really makes zero difference. That's why people, like, I see people, like, even in George's chat, they're like, oh, he's not a real person, and that's not really Trump, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, you'll focus on that part, but you're missing the part where he's actually acting like the real Trump and filling in the role and doing everything as if he was the real Trump. So what the fuck does it matter if he's dead? It doesn't fucking matter. He's still there. He's still fucking doing it. He's the spiritual successor, if you want to call it that, of Trump, right? He's just as good, just as effective. And people can't tell the goddamn difference. They can't tell whether he's the fake Trump or the real Trump. So it doesn't matter if Trump died. It doesn't matter. So, I know why Kim is saying it, because Kim is trying to let people know what's really happening. But I'm not really talking about what Kim is saying per se. I'm talking about the people that focus on that fact and they get glued and stuck on that. Like, see, I know Trump is dead. I know. Well, shut up. Doesn't matter. It's fucking meaningless information. Like, it doesn't do anything. He's still doing the same shit. He's still fucking stealing money from people, getting people to support his causes. He's still gonna, if he makes it to January 20th or whatever, he's still gonna be the president. He's still gonna be in office. He's still gonna do the same shit, even if he's a puppet, which the old Trump was a puppet too. They're both puppets. So he's still gonna do the same shit as if he was the real Trump. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't, and I'm beating that dead horse because people, like, if you look at this chat over here, I don't know if you guys can see it, but these people, they just get stuck on this shit. Like, oh, Trump is dead. That's not the real Trump. I've seen it so many times in this chat alone. And it's usually the same person. And I'm like, do you think that makes you smarter because you heard Kim say this and you know this thing? And what is that? It means nothing. But whatever. I'm not going to keep going on that. I'm going to finish this and then we'll talk more about this.
Because it's almost as if those who believe in Trump, we've taken the wind out of their sails. But that's not the intent in any way, shape, or form. Again, I'm just a guy asking questions, and I appreciate people that give me answers and try to help me and help my audience. But what type of hope do we have? Is there any hope for us? Do you see a better future for everyone out there today?
I do. And it's not dependent on a president. It's not dependent on who gets elected or, those types of things. It's really dependent on you. Unfortunately or unfortunately. And what I mean by that, it's going to take all of humanity to come together and to unite and put your political differences aside, put your religious beliefs aside, and just for a moment, just be human and help each other. We can change the world together. I did a little experiment at one point in time. I asked everybody if they would donate $1 per month to a tax-deductible organization. And I figured it out that if they donated, and the parents donated on behalf of their kids and those not working and that kind of thing, we would have had around $300 million a month here in America alone to spend. And what could you do if everybody was voting on their $1? What could you change in your community? Maybe it's a pothole. Maybe it's a homeless shelter you'd like to build. But $300 million a month, can you imagine what you would do with that? Problem is, we're so divided.
She brings up a hell of a point too.
Yeah.
$1 a month that's $300 million a month. That's a lot of fucking money. And people don't even think about that. But, people are more concerned with, supporting meaningless causes than actually coming together as a community, because everyone's so egotistical and worried about themselves and they don't care about other people. So it's very difficult for them to think about what she just said and actually implement that.
Here's a great question. Mm-hmm. Hey, Kim, why interview with this guy?
Who, you?
Yeah, that's what they're asking.
I love talking to you, George. I mean, you know what? You've given me a lot of information too, as far as like the stuff on, like, I'm like, why are you all standing in this circle with these crystals singing this song? Yes. And why today? I don't even know. And you've given me a lot of information that's kind of helped me understand why these crazy deep state people do what they do and when and why,
Yeah.
When the next time will be.
Yeah. Again, for those who don't know, really quickly, I spent 13 years in the supernatural, the paranormal, the occult. I studied demonology and all things
I'm
esoteric.
going to tell you why people can't do what she said in terms of the $300 million a month, because everyone's waiting for somebody to tell them what to do, and people can't figure out how to do things for themselves. So until people learn to think for themselves and do what's best for themselves and other people without having someone tell them, like a Bible or a politician or their school teacher or their boss at their job or whatever, we're never going to get to what she's talking to. Like, it's impossible. But she's right.
And I come to discover many things. The original plan, folks, was just to find out why I had a haunting in my room, living in Los Angeles, attending school. Weird things. That's all I wanted to know. And then I went into one rabbit hole and found that presidents and people were doing rituals and ceremonies, and I didn't want to believe it. And I got more and more and more. So I spent 13 years of that. And then for me, Kim, I had a moment in my life where I came to terms with allowing God to guide me, to direct me, to give me discernment, to live a better life, to get away from that, and to allow Jesus Christ to be my Lord and Savior. And I'm thankful because I am a better person for it. And all I can do on this platform is to share that type of information. So thank you for taking this time to be interview with me and answer some of these questions and share some of the information you have, and we appreciate that. And guys, if you want to know more, she's with United Network News, UNN. It's a great channel. She does 3 shows a week, and there's some phenomenal stuff. Following this, we're going to my Patreon account, and on Patreon, we're going to do a Q&A, and I want to talk about P. Diddy. What's going on with Jay-Z? What's going on with Hollywood? I got to ask you these questions, Kim, but we're going to do it on Patreon. The Q&A coming up next. Before we leave, is there anything or any message you want to leave with everybody watching today?
Well, just remember, we're all human. We all make mistakes. It's not that we don't have life lessons. I raised my daughter to believe that mistakes are actually lessons in life. And the deep state's learning a big one right now, and that's really funny for me. But as far as all of us, we're just human. You might have differences of opinion of books or movies or what's going on in the political arena or even where you attend church or whatever it is. And it really doesn't matter. If you all come together, you will make a difference in this world. Think about it. $1, it's not even what it costs you for a cup of coffee these days in America. $300 million a month. Tax deductible, you're going to pay it to the IRS or you could pay it. Think about it, if you all got together and did that, what could you do in your community, in your area? You could start making some of your dreams come true. So I'm not saying that we're not going to have funding or anything like that through me. What I'm saying is you can do these things yourselves. You don't need me. You are your own savior. In George, you proved it, right? You saved yourself from some pretty dark places. And anything is possible. Just remember that we're not each other's enemy. We have a real enemy out there that does really bad things to us, but we're not each other's enemy. So just try to be kind to each other. And, we're all just here to give you information. We're trying here. George has given me some very valuable information as it relates to the occult. That's helped me understand where the deep state's going to be next. And I value his opinion, but just remember, we're all human.
Absolutely agreed.
Amen.
I will share this on my end, what I've learned from the occult. Ladies and gentlemen, your soul is energy. You have power. Your energy can be harvested by these people to do negative things for them to manifest, to come to fruition.
Yeah.
When you understand this, you'll know the power that you really have. People say you hold the power, you hold the key. It is so true. What you put out is what you get back. So I say, go outside, look inside the park, take your kids, take your dog, go for a walk, raise your vibration, be happy. Don't listen to negativity. Don't listen to anxiety, stress. It is a movie, and they're going to do it on purpose. They want you at a low megahertz because that's how they affect you. It's how you get sick, believe it or not. Stress, anxiety. It's how they affect your soul, and they use that power. It's called loosh. So it's important that you don't allow them to do that. So have faith, be strong, show goodwill, make someone smile, make yourself smile, watch a comedy, watch a good movie, raise your frequency, high frequency, meaning be happy. This isn't new age stuff. This is truly real, folks. You need to be happy and find a good place. No one person is going to come and save us. You can save yourself, you can save your family, and together, unity, all of us together could do great things if we put our minds to it. I want to thank you for being here, Kim. You're beautiful, you're wonderful, and you're doing great things for humanity, honestly. And I thank you for being here. I love your channel, and I love what you're trying to do. I love all the people that are watching, whether you agree with us or not. May you find peace in your heart and in your mind and your soul. Be happy. I pray for you, and may good things happen. I thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you on the after show coming up next. So thank you for watching, everybody. God bless, and good night.
Cool. Well, that's that. So yeah, all right, we'll get back to this, you guys. All right, you're gonna see the whole infinite thing now, so you guys can see the chat. Let me turn this off. But yeah, I want to get something like what he has when he has like the little comments show up from people. That one lady, Kathy, she was having a ball. Like I saw her comment like 10 times. It felt like, but she was just having a good old time, just yapping and yapping. But anyways, let me read your comments and then I'll say some things. Let's see. They're so predictable. I read this. You're really okay. There's no logical explanation to worship of him. Okay, I read that. George, if he likes drunken. Okay, I read that. Okay, I read that. Agree. What's the difference? Okay. Many of those people are dead. It's all a show. Actors wearing masks. Right? Who cares? Waste of time proving dead. He's the same. Yep. Yes, if 1 million people sent me $1, I'd be rich. What could I do with all that money? For me, it's a lot. 300 million a month. Just think about that. Couple changed the world. True that. Yeah. And that's it's like she's basically saying that if everybody in the United States really wanted to change and fix the United States, you know how everyone's like, well, I'm going to vote for this person. I'm going to go to church and pray to God. I'm going to wait for my government to help me and bail me out and all this and that and the other. If everybody in the United States that was working, or if, you know, if every 300 million people had a job, let's just say that, and they gave $1 to some fund that would help out communities or whatever, it would be $300 million a month. And we wouldn't need a government. We wouldn't need God. We wouldn't need religion. We wouldn't need any of these things that people always rely on to help us get out of the situations that we're in. We would be able to do it ourselves. But because everyone's so programmed and brainwashed into believing that they need an outside source to fix their life for them. Like I've had so many people come to me and say, Kim promised me money. Where's my money? Kim says she was gonna give me money and I don't have my money. She lied to me. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, these fucking people. Like, I'm like, watch Kim for her information and higher knowledge, not for her to give you fucking money. She's not a goddamn charity. Even though, to be fair, Kim herself has talked about giving people money. And that was a problem. Like, she should have never made those promises if she couldn't deliver, right? But I never watched Kim because I was waiting for her to give me money. I was fascinated with her information. The first time I saw Kim was on Carrie Cassidy's show in 2021. September 1st, I think it was, 2021. That was the first time I saw Kim. And I was listening to her and I was like, wow, she has a lot of crazy things to say. And I've never heard anyone say the things that she's saying. So I was fascinated by her knowledge and information. And I just started to, follow her after that. I never gave a damn about her giving me any money. Never expected a dime from her. But she's literally telling people, this is the easiest thing you can all do without her. Is here, donate $1 to some foundation or charity that basically, can help every American. And we easily have the capability to do that. But instead of people doing that, they're doing other shit. And to be honest, if this channel ever got popular where I started to make a lot of money, I would do that kind of shit. I would do like a lot of charity work and donations to people and try to help people out. Because I don't really, I'm not really someone that cares too much about money or the financial system. It's kind of like Jesus, right? Where Jesus went into the cave and flipped the table over. That's how I think about money. Exactly identical to Jesus. I hate money, but I understand the importance of money and the significance it has to humans. Because we've all been raised and programmed to believe that we need money to survive, when in reality we don't. But that's what we've all been conditioned and trained to believe and feel, and we're used to that system, right? Until we can figure out how to get around it we're gonna be stuck using it, right? So, but anyways, Rafi said everyone. I believe you're meant to say everyone is so divided too. That is the greatest issue. Yeah, that's the problem, right? Everyone's so selfish and focused on their own individual lives. They could give a damn about helping somebody else. I'm Your Muse said, yep, praying, asking for God to give you this or that, asking government to give you this or that, or to do this or that for us, so we can't rely on anyone but ourselves. Yep. I've always felt that way. I've always felt like the only person I could truly rely on is me. Anytime I've ever tried to put faith in other people, or I'd taken a chance and say, yeah, I could trust this person, blah, blah. It's always a failure. So I'm like, yeah, I can just only rely on myself. Not going to rely on other people. Peace says, source creator is within. We are a part of and originate from source creator. A spirit, not a god. Yeah, God is actually a word for a very powerful and wise man. That's what the word was originally created and intended to mean. It was a governor or a powerful man with great wisdom. It was never meant to be identified with creation or creator or source. But the God in the Bible decided to do that and equate himself with that. And that's why there's so much confusion about that word. Money equals program. Yep. I mean, you said that is what politics do. Polarizes us to fight against each other. Yeah, that's all politics do. But it's not just politics. It's religions. It's languages, races, countries, social systems, cultures. I mean, it's everywhere. Everything that's been created in this world is to divide the people. It's just a matter of where do you want to fall. Like what culture do you want to be a part of? What country? What language do you want to speak? What religion do you want to follow? What political party do you want to follow? Like, all this shit is divide and conquer. It was never meant. None of these things were never meant to unite humanity. And when I hear somebody say, I'm proud of my culture, I'm proud of my language, I'm proud of my country, I'm proud of my religion, I'm proud of this and that and the other, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, anyone that says that to me is an idiot, because I'm like, so you're proud of the division that your little culture and language creates. They've been programmed to believe that you should be proud of something that divides humanity. The whole purpose of these things is to create discourse and rifts between people that lead to wars and killing and fighting. And that's the whole point of it. There's no reason why we shouldn't all speak the same language or see another human as just another human, right? Why we should be able to go to any country we want. Who has given these humans the authority to own any part of the world, of the earth? Who decided that? Why do they have authority over a part of the earth? But again, humans don't run the world, so they don't control the countries or the land or anything. Although that's what they want you to think. P said, I love the Gospel of Thomas, most of it, and Christic, but no religion. If you like that, I can give you something much better to read. But we'll see if you want to read that. If you want to read what Jesus really said. But yeah, other than that, like I said, all these things were created for division. So people just have to get over the stuff and move on. As long as we have these things, there's not going to be a utopia or a new, light kingdom or golden age or anything like that. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, this is what I see, unfortunately. What you guys see on the screen. So if you type something and I didn't read it, that means I didn't see it. But it'll show up in the replay, so. Alright, peace. I owe you guys a social media. I'm still trying to fix my Twitter, but if I don't fix my Twitter by tomorrow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Twitter. And then you guys can start, direct messaging me there. And we can, you guys can post whatever you want on there. And I'll post some things there for you guys. So, we'll figure that out. But look out for that. I'll probably make a video explaining to you guys what social media I'm going to have so you guys know where to go. And I'll try to update the links. So funny, a few of my comments didn't show up either. Yeah, the more truth you speak, the less YouTube will allow it. But, this is the stupid thing. I see it in the replay. Like, you guys want to... Should I go to... Let me see something here. Did you guys go back and look at the replay of the last live stream? Because that... you can see all your comments there. So they're not deleted. They're just hidden from me for some reason. I don't know why. And some of them, you guys can't see some of them yourselves. But I can't see any, whatever's not showing up, I can't see it. I don't know why. I'm Your Muse said, so funny. Oh yeah, I already read that. Rafi said, awesome channel. Appreciate that, Rafi. Peace said, the true Jesus Joshua taught meditation and kingdom within. Yep. I mean, I feel like I should show you it now. If you saw the things Jesus said compared to what the Bible says he said, it's like night and day. And don't get me wrong, the Bible does have a little bit of truth of what Jesus said. So there's enough of his essence there for people to respect and understand the man. But it's not quite accurate or 100% accurate. It just has some things. Maybe what I'll do is next stream, or maybe we'll just go over it. We'll go over this thing I want to show you. I wasn't planning on going that late tonight. I was actually going to do an hour, but since I showed you guys that video, it took a little longer. I'm Your Muse says, sure, thanks for sharing the video and enjoyed this stream. Have a good night and keep us posted. Alright, if you're going to sleep, I'm Your Muse. I'm going to cut it off in a few minutes. Unless you guys want to talk about anything else. He said, yes, I'd like that. I'm Your Muse said, I was going to today, but didn't get to it yet. And P said, I've researched for years spiritual text, but yes, love to see what book you're talking about. Yes, some truths in the Bible. Some. Hold on a second. I'll show you something. I'll let you hear some words before we go. I'll leave you with a little taste of it. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's see if I still have this. I'm sure I do. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There we go. Let's see if this still exists. No! Are you serious? Okay. Wow, there was a website that compared this text to the Bible. Is this it? I think this is it. Here we go. Yes. All right. Woo. All right. Thank God I found it. Thank God. It's funny to say that. Anyways, hold on a second. Let me put it in this folder. All right. I just want to read you like one or two things that he says. So I'll read you what the book of Matthew says, and then I'll read you what Jesus said. Or should I call him Emmanuel? All right. So if you go to Matthew 29:30, it says, "But Jesus answered them, 'You are wrong, because you know neither the scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are like angels in heaven.' Now, in this book that I'm going to give you, he says, Emmanuel, however, answered, saying, 'You are mistaken, and do not know the unadulterated scriptures of the elders, nor do you know the laws of creation. Truly I say to you, Moses never gave his commandment, but he gave the commandment that a brother should take his brother's wife to himself in honor. So if one died, the other would take care of the widow of his brother. How is it possible for a brother to beget descendants for his brother, since everyone's seed is different? If the next incarnation they all will be strangers, because they will not recognize each other. Therefore no law says the wife then belongs to this one or that one.'" So that's the difference. So the first sentence I read to you was from Matthew, and the second one was from the other text. And there's a huge difference. Huge difference. I mean, I love reading this stuff just because the way he speaks is very, very different. Oh, man. Let's see. I'll read you this other one from the book of Matthew 7:8. It says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, and he who seeks finds. And to him who knocks it will be opened." And now from the other text, this is the other text, it says, not from the book of Matthew, this is the other text I'm going to give you. It says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For whoever asks of their spirit consciousness will receive. And whosoever seeks through the power of consciousness will find. And whosoever knocks at the door of their consciousness, to that person will it be opened." So as you can see, the Bible's version is so simple and simplified. It's like knowledge for dummies. You know how they make those books like building for dummies or cooking for dummies? Well, the Bible's like knowledge for dummies, meaning it's dumbed down and it doesn't have the full power of what J. Manuel was actually saying. But in this other book, it does. But yeah, let me see what you guys have said. Yes, some truths in the Bible. Some. I'm not going to sleep. You said you were going to go for now, so that was a few. Oh yeah. I wasn't sure yet, especially now that I'm reading this. Peace said, "Book you mentioned, yes." Rafi said, "I like to exchange ideas with members of this group. Radically different." Peace said, "Yes." He said a lot of things in Matthew Christians like to ignore. Like if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you could do the same as him and more. Yeah, that also is very watered down to what he actually said, which is also in this text that I'm reading. I could try to see if I can find the actual verse. What verse was that? Do you know which verse it was where he talked about the mustard seed? I could find it real quick if you don't know. All I asked for is unadulterated truth, and boy, oh boy, did I get it. You aren't going to find truth in church or the Bible. Yeah. What is the book's name? If you want it, I can give it to you now. I could at least, I can give you this page. Go to this page. Let's see if it shows up so you can go look at it yourself. Rafi says consciousness implies within yourself, while the Bible version implies an external source. Exactly. And that's the problem with the Bible, right? The Bible is always trying to make you self-reliant on something else. I said self-reliant. Well, making yourself reliant on an outside source. Whereas the real Jesus or the real J. Manuel taught, go within, and then you will find what you want. You will get what you want. You don't need to go without. But here, let me see if this shows up. Are you able to click that link? I don't know if that link is clickable. Let me go to the, hold on. Let me go to this one. All right. Well, if you can't go to it, like I said, I'll have my Twitter and all this other stuff. And then I'll be able to give it to you that way. Read what it says. I can't remember the verse. It's in Matthew, though. It was a story of them using Jesus' name to cast demons out. And that is when he said, you don't need to use... Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just don't remember the verse. I'll look up the mustard seed one, though. Because I do have a website that has all the Bibles. Like every single Bible that exists, I have a website for that. So if anyone's interested in that, I can give you that. And then you can compare that with what I'm giving you in terms of... let me see. Mustard seed. Matthew 17:20. He replied, because you have so little faith, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to show you what he really said. Hold on. That's a good one. $17.20. Hold on. Well, it doesn't seem the parcel of the mustard seed. Oh, 13. Are you talking about the mustard seed and the yeast? Like when he said the kingdom has like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. 13:31. Okay, let's see that. Well, since we're on the topic of mustard seeds, let's just stick to that. Hold on. So in the book of Matthew, he says, another parable he put before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it has grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. And then what he actually said is, he presented the people with another parable, saying, the consciousness related world is like a mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest among the seeds, but when it is grown, it is bigger than all of the shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the sky come and dwell in its branches. So he basically just changed the kingdom of heaven with the consciousness related world, which the kingdom of heaven obviously was used in the Bible to keep referencing God and heaven and all of that. But what he was really talking about is consciousness and meditation and things like that. Oh, I posted it. I guess it didn't show up. Frick. Let me find that too, what you just said about. Let's see. Yeah, in John it says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do, because I am going to the Father." There's something like that, but I'm trying to find it over here. Because not everything from the Bible is in this book, but this book has some things the Bible just added as extra. It's basically what I'm trying to say. They just threw in extra fluff into the Bible, but not everything is there. I'm trying to find some more good stuff. Just give me a second. I'll read you another one. Matthew 13:17. He answered, "Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. Let them alone. They are the blind leading the blind. And if a blind man leads a blind man, both will fall into a pit." But Peter said to him, "Explain the parable to us." And he said, "Are you still without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into the mouth passes into the stomach?" Now, in this other book, this is what he actually says. He says, "But he answered and spoke, all plants do not live according to the laws of creation, will dry up and rot. That do not live according to the laws of creation will dry up and rot. Leave them be. They are blind leaders of the blind. But when a blind man leads another blind man, both will fall into the pit. But let us go away, so that the henchmen remain without booty." Then Petrus answered him, saying, "Please interpret your speech about the plants and the blind men for us." But Emmanuel reprimanded his disciples and said, "Are you too still without wisdom, and therefore also ignorant and doubting in recognition, comprehension, and understanding? You have been with me for a long time now, but you still lack the ability to think and recognize the truth. Truly I say to you, you yourselves will do much towards falsifying my teachings in the future. In your knowledge, you barely exceed the other people. Haven't you realized yet that all the parables and speeches have a consciousness-related meaning and are therefore about the consciousness-related life of human beings? O you of little knowledge, does your understanding still not extend beyond the stupidity of the people? Beware lest you see me in the false light and accuse me of an origin from which I could not have descended." So he's basically saying, you, my own disciples, are going to be responsible, which are the books that are in the Bible, for skewing my knowledge and not interpreting it as it should be interpreted. And you're also going to say that I originated from a source which I didn't, which is creation. But he actually, or God, right? So he's basically predicting the future because he could see the future. And that's what he's telling them. He's like, you guys are going to be responsible for ruining the things that I'm telling you. Like, you're not going to say it properly. You're not going to convey the message properly. And things will be misconstrued and misguided. because they can't still understand what he's saying, even though he's with them all the time and preaching to them and telling them, teaching them, and they still don't get it. Let's see. I'm looking at these parables. Matthew 13:44, he says, the kingdom of heaven is like treasure hidden in a field, which a man found and covered up. Then in his joy he goes and sells all that he has and buys that field. But in this book he says, those who have ears, let them hear. The consciousness-related world is like a hidden treasure in the field, which a person finds and conceals. And in his joy over the discovery, he goes out and sells everything he has and buys the field. It's just funny. But anyways, yeah, so I'll just give you guys that at some point. Let's see. The story of using Jesus' name to cast out demons, and that is, you said you don't need to use my name. Yeah, I'm trying to find that. Let me see. I've actually had people tell me that too. That they use Jesus' name. Let's see. Matthew 7:22. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonderful works? So Matthew 7:22. Let me see. Matthew 7:22. Okay, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. That's what I just read, basically. Yep, that's what it was. At least that's what I think that you were talking about. Verily I say unto you, if you believe in me, you can do the same as me and more. With the faith of the mustard seed, you can tell the mountain to move from there to here. Yes, read it to us. He said, you can do the same as me and more. In other words, they could cast out demons and do miracles like him if they believed they could. No need to use his name like Christians do. Exactly. And that's also in this other book. He says, oh, ye of little faith. Like, because they have no faith in their capabilities and their power. And he's trying to teach them about their own power. And that's when he talks about, you can do as I do. But you don't believe you can. That's why you can't. You have to believe it. And they don't. But he's trying to teach them the whole entire time. It has nothing to do with God or Jesus, like you said. But, you know, those people back then, you got to think, it was like more than 2,000 years ago, right? So they're kind of stupid. If the people today are stupid, the people back then were even dumber, right? Like, you got to think that way. So, of course, they weren't freaking understanding what the hell he was saying. They were just like, what? What are you talking about, Jesus? I mean, can you run that by me one more time? Lord and Savior. So, yeah. P said, I love the true Joshua and his words. Yeah, when I discovered this book, I was very enamored with it. I read it a bunch of times, but it's been a long time since I read it, so but I'll give it to you on one of these things. I'm Your Muse said, are you reading the Naked Bible? That is supposed to be what was actually said, but I haven't read it either. No, I haven't. I don't know what the Naked Bible is. I've never heard of it. Of course they did. They removed stuff. They added stuff, especially the book of Enoch, where he talks about the aliens. Yeah, the book of Enoch. I'm Your Muse said, yes, they will call him God and the Son of God in the crucifixion ruse. Yep, it's all fake. I'm Your Muse said, he was teaching them to cast out demons and to not just cast out them, but to put them into swine and all the crazy times of those days. Imagine being there. Yeah, it would have been a shit show. Fabiola says, LOL. And I'm Your Muse says, Lord. Loyal Order of Royal Dragons. Never heard that one before. But I think I'll use that one. I'm a little bit of a dragon myself. I'm not gonna get into that. But anyways, so yeah. I'm trying to find more of his words, because when he talks, he talks. Let me just find this book. Hold on a second. Let me see if I have it. I thought I had it, because what I'm reading from is a website. It's not the actual book. I thought I had it. Where the hell is it? Hold on. Okay. I think this is it. Come on. Let me see it. Let me see it. You a lord? LOL. I like. Hey, don't crush my dreams and hopes. Okay, I'm your muse. Be my muse for now, and let me wallow in my own grandeur for a little bit, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. But anyways, what was I gonna? Let me see. What are we looking at here? Show all the files. What the hell is this? No, this is not what I was looking for. Is this it? Oh, come on. Stop playing with me. Okay, here we. Okay, yeah, I think this is it. I'll read a little more. Yeah, this is it for sure. Do you guys know? Are you guys familiar with the Sermon on the Mount? Okay, Lord, real truth. That sounds good. I like. It has a certain ring to it. You know they call kings Lord in Joshua, not Jesus. Hail Zeus, hail Zeus, Lord too. Think it was a title, not some godly thing. Oh God, Jesus! I'm just trying to enjoy my life. No, I'm just joking. All right, let me. Are you guys familiar with the Sermon on the Mount? If you are familiar with the Sermon on the Mount, raise your hand. If YouTube blocks your hand raised, I will be upset. If your hand is raised, but it's been blocked by YouTube, please raise your hand again. I'm just joking. Okay, I'm gonna read you this. Love messing with you, okay? Yeah, it's funny. Everyone loves messing with me. No, I'm just joking. But okay, I'll read this to you. Okay, so this is the Sermon on the Mount. This is one of my favorite parts of this book. Watch this. He says, when Emmanuel saw the people following him, he went up. Oh wait, let me bring this closer. He went up a hill and sat down, and his disciples came to him, and he taught them, saying, blessed are those who are rich in spirit and recognize the truth, for life is theirs. Blessed are those who endure hardship, for they shall thus recognize truth and be comforted. Blessed are the spiritually balanced, for they shall possess knowledge. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for truth and knowledge, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are those who live according to the laws of nature, for they live according to the plan of creation. Blessed are those who have a clear conscience, for they need not fear. Blessed are those who know about creation, for they are not enslaved by false teachings. Blessed are the righteous, for nature is subject to them. Blessed are you if, on my account, and because of our teachings, people revile and persecute you and speak all manner of evil against you. Thus they lie about the teachings. Be of good cheer and take comfort. This life and the next life will reward you. For so have the belittlers of the truth persecuted the prophets who were before you. So will they also persecute you. You are the salt of the earth. And if the salt loses its flavor, with what will one salt? It is useless henceforth, except it be thrown out and stepped on by the people. So he's saying, you are the salt of the earth, and without you, what good is the salt other than to salt, right? So if you let people step all over you and throw you out, then you're no good. You're no longer the salt, right? You'll be useless. You are the light of the world, and consider, the city that lies on top of a mountain cannot be hidden. One does not light a candle and place it under a bushel, but on a candlestick. Thus it shines for all those who are in the house. Likewise, your light shall shine before the people, so they see your good deeds and recognize the truth of your knowledge. Do not think that I have come to do away with the law or the prophet. I have come not to undo, but to fulfill and to reveal the knowledge. Truly I say to you, until the heavens and the earth vanish, neither a letter nor a dot of the law of creation and the laws of nature will vanish until all is fulfilled. Whosoever violates one of the smallest of the laws or directives and teaches the people falsely will be called the smallest. But whosoever spreads the teachings truthfully will be called great and will receive the reward of the Spirit. I tell you, if your righteousness does not exceed that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not receive the reward of the Spirit and of life. You have heard that it was said to your ancestors, you shall not kill, but whosoever kills shall be found guilty by the courts. However, I say to you, exercise justice according to the natural laws of creation, so that you find the judgment in logic. Guilty are all those who kill when not acting in self-defense, or according to legal verdict based on self-defense. Likewise, guilty are all those who engage in evil speech and actions. Only justice according to the natural laws of creation produces a logical judgment. Do not accommodate your adversaries if you are in the right, and the judge will probably have to decide in your favor. Truly I say to you, you will attain justice only when you find it yourself and can make your fellow humans understand it. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery. All right, I can keep going on and on and on, but you guys get the point. That's very different than the Bible, as you can see, as you can hear. But anyways, so I see one hand raised. I'm your muse. It's raised. You can't see it. Oh, okay. I'll take your word for it. I'm salt, but not salty. Got it. You can be salty salt if you want to be. I mean, that's your decision. P said, yes, people try to rid you of your saltiness and light, but have to keep being salty light and true. You guys are something else. What would I do without these two pieces of salt right here? Pieces of all right, anyways. Yeah. You guys are funny. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream now. I think we had our fun. But yeah, I'm gonna give you this book piece whenever I set it up. That Instagram, what am I talking about? Twitter. I'm probably gonna do Telegram too, because I think a lot of people like Telegram. So I'll do Telegram. I'll do Twitter. I'll do Discord too, if you guys want Discord. I'm trying to think of all the things that people like to use to communicate. I'll make a video probably tomorrow, no promises, but because I'm still trying to fix my Twitter. That's the issue that I'm having. If I can't fix my Twitter, then I'm just gonna say screw it. I'll just make a new one, and then I'll have all the social media set up. I mean, Muse says, yeah, saltiness, lol. Okay, well, it has been fun. Okay, I'm on Telegram only. Okay. Lord, real truth. Stay salty. I appreciate that. I'm glad you got my title correct. That's all that matters. From now on, henceforth into eternity, I shall be known as Lord Real Truth. No, I'm just joking. God. I'm gonna have to pray for myself after this live with you. I'm your muse. He said I could make a Twitter again, but like Telegram. No, I hear you. Yeah. The only reason why I want to use Twitter is because it's very popular and very it's popular. That's the truth. I mean, I can't say it any better than that. And because it's so popular, it'll help spread the message. That's the best way I can put it, right? But I can still make a Telegram. So it's not like I can, I have to do just one or the other. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed all that. I don't really want to do 3 or 4 hour streams. It's just that it's happening because you guys are keeping me here all night. You're handcuffing me and forcing me into doing it, so I have no choice, right? But yeah, I want to keep it under 2 hours for sure. So I'm not sure when I'll stream again. I can't make any promises, but I'll try to at least set up the social media and let you guys know. So look for that in the next couple of days. Yeah, X. It's rated X, that's why. But yeah, Elon Special X. Yeah, he should make a cereal called Special X, right? Elon Special X. But yeah, he's a special little demon boy. You guys heard what Kim said. He has all his little demon friends he likes to play with. But yeah, we had fun, right? And like I told you guys, I try to tell people, like, on my live streams, I'm not the same as I am in my videos. In my videos, I try to be more serious because the things I'm talking about is not really something to joke around about. And a lot of times people will piss me off and say some stupid shit, and then I just have to crush them. But it is what it is. But anyways, this is what it's going to be like on the live stream. So, and if I do Twitch, it's going to be the same thing, right? The only difference is Twitch will be me playing games and talking about the same stuff. Or I might just find some games like what I showed you earlier, I'm Your Muse, about the Umbrella Corporation. I might just find games like that and be like, look at the secret hidden here, look at the secret hidden there. Things like that, interesting things. But anyways, alright, I had a good stream. I appreciate you guys showing up. Not sure when I'm going to do it again, but keep your eyes peeled, and I'll be making more content, more videos. Hit the like button before you guys head out, please. That I would greatly appreciate that. And if I get some support on Patreon, I have a little support there, but if I get a lot of support, I'm definitely going to make that a platform where I'll be sharing a lot of exclusive secrets, quote unquote. Things I can't say on YouTube. Let's just say it that way. Anyways, have a good night. Talk to you guys tomorrow, next time. Take care.